Rifters, how you doing today? We're live here on the Go Network. It's a wonderful spring. Is it spring yet? Not yet. Close,
Not technically
almost.
yet. Tomorrow.
Is it tomorrow?
I think so.
Or is it the 21st?
Might be the 21st as well.
See, I thought
it's
it was
coming soon. Yeah.
I thought it was today.
Within the next 24 to 48 hours,
Well,
it's spring.
A wonderful almost spring to you Rifters. And we're going to have a wonderful show tonight for you. We're going to have our buddy Mitch on. We're going to talk CT GamerCon. It's this weekend, so we're going to hype that up. We're going to also talk the current state of comic books. We're also going to talk a little bit of Marvel movie-wise with their deal with Fox officially going through today. So we'll be definitely talking about that, what the future might hold. And then we're going to have a review of Captain Marvel. So me and Jason saw it the weekend it came out. And, yeah. So it's probably going to be very spoilerific, so we're saving that to the very end. It will be the last part of our time with Mitch. That will be our last topic. So if you aren't a fan of spoilers or haven't seen the movie yet or just don't give a damn about Captain Marvel, you can just head off then. And, I don't know, Dimitri, how about this intro maybe going down here? This is the longest I've ever heard. I didn't even know it went that long.
I didn't even notice.
That was like the longest I've ever heard. So it's like a legit full song, Dimitri?
It's 4 minutes long.
What?
I usually cut it out for your benefit. And
well, that last sounded like
you do realize
a car alarm.
You do realize I could have turned it off by myself, right? If you just give me a few extra seconds.
Sure. But
anyway, but yes.
Probably true.
It goes on longer, but yes, I'm sorry. Okay, go ahead.
I don't know. I was just so the car alarm was just I don't know my head. So I have like a really bad headache right now, and that did not help. We're
just in top shape today. This is
yeah.
We're really bringing the heat.
Jason's barely alive, and I have a really, really, really bad headache.
I feel like I'm the only one that's fully conscious right now.
Sure, yeah,
that
maybe.
Could be true, yeah.
So we didn't have a show last week. Jason's been under the weather. He's been dead, and we just
basically, yeah.
Welcome back to life.
We just brought him back to life. We just resuscitated him.
Oh, that's good.
So we could do the show. So he's alive. He's here. He looks fantastic.
Oh yeah.
You can't even tell he was sick. He looks wonderful, ladies. He is single, so if you're looking for a good time, Jason's here.
I can barely talk, and every time I try and do it, I end up in a coughing fit. Real nice wet hacking cough. Is that hot, lady?
Some ladies might be into that.
Yeah,
and if you are ladies, you can call in at 857-366-5444. If you want to text in, you can do so at 857-445-0424.
I feel like I've kind of got that voice going on a little bit, unintentionally.
Yeah, a little bit.
That weird, is my voice sexy like this? Probably not.
Your Nightline voice?
Yeah, my Nightline voice, yeah.
Your Nerdline voice?
This one goes out to the lovers.
Ladies.
What's up?
Jason is here and ready.
It's all hot and stuff until I start coughing into the mic. Then we got a problem.
So, since we missed a good I was going to say a good portion of the week. We missed the whole week. Jeez. Me with the headache is not a good time. Yeah, I'm just not fun. But I'm gonna power through this. I'm a professional. Gonna get it done. Gonna do the show. So we didn't do the show last week, like I said. A lot of things happened. I did a lot of things, so I'm gonna go first on what we consumed because we don't have a lot of time, and I gotta kind of hit these points because we can't have segments on them, I guess, or we're not gonna. And I feel if I hold them out another week, they're gonna be super irrelevant. And then, there's no point.
Yeah.
So, a lot of things. Like I said, me and Jason saw Captain Marvel. We'll talk about that when Mitch pops on. I had a Pokemon tournament, not last Sunday, but the Sunday before. It was the Tempest Cup. It was ground types, electric types, flying types, and ice types. It was not one of our best events.
Oh.
It was a rainstorm or a snowstorm. It started snowing, then it started raining. I don't know. A lot of people didn't show up.
Okay.
It seemed like it was going to be our best one. Like, we were going to have the most people coming.
Yeah.
And then a bunch of people just, like, was commenting on Facebook, like, oh, I'm out. Like, the weather's not working for me.
Oh, come
Do
on.
you think it was mostly because of the weather?
Yeah. Definitely. A bunch of people were like, oh, I wish I could be there. Or
You
like,
guys live in Massachusetts. Like, come on.
or,
I hate that excuse. I know, right?
and it wasn't even bad. It was like it snowed early in the morning, and then by noontime it was just rain.
Yeah.
And
That's not even bad for Massachusetts.
I
Oh,
got
that's
there. I
nice.
got there at 2, and it was just like a little windy rain. But as soon as I got there, the rain was like already dying down. So the thing was to start at 4, and the tournament started at 5. So they didn't have to be there right at 4. They could have got there closer to 5. Which so a few people did that. They got like right at the end, and we were like, oh man, we might not even be able to do this.
Oh wow. Yeah.
And the weather wasn't even that bad at all. But a lot of people just didn't do it. Just didn't come.
Wimps.
So we ended up just barely having enough to run the both tournaments. So we did run them both. I did awful in the Tempest Cup. Like the worst I've ever played Pokemon Go in like my entire lifetime. It was so bad. My first match, I almost lost. I barely beat the person. My second match, I messed up picking the wrong Pokemon and put a Pokemon in that immediately died.
Oh no.
Like it was like the exact opposite weakness of what I needed to put in, and they died in one hit. And it wasn't what I meant to do. Like immediately, I was like, I didn't mean to do that, and
Yeah.
it's like, and then that just completely threw everything off. Like at that point, there was no chance for me to come back. That one mess up, kind of I just lost. I had no chance of coming back, and then so I lost that round, and then the third round. I was just like, at this point, I was just like so discouraged because I was playing so awful that I didn't even like. I even told them I was like, one of my Pokemon's trash, and then they knew I wasn't going to use that Pokemon, so they just put counters in that they knew I couldn't counter because I didn't have that Pokemon in, and I completely got destroyed.
Wow.
So I was just like, yeah, it was a bad time. In the beginning, I had like a set team, and then right before it, I was like, you know what? I'm going to change it up. And I changed my team like last minute. It didn't cause us to like mess up or anything. I did it
Sure.
before, obviously. But that last minute change definitely didn't help. But I played like crap. So the first tournament, I didn't even place in the top 3. I was like 4th or 5th. That was awful.
Wow.
And then the second tournament was like the tournament, I guess, that meant more to me. So the kid that destroyed me last time, Griffin, just like destroy. Well, he didn't. Yeah, I guess he did kind of destroy me. He kind of ruined me the last time. And like this whole time, all was thinking was like, I need to beat this kid. I have to beat this
Yeah.
kid. That's all I thought
You're
about.
on a
Like,
mission.
I need to beat him. I have to beat him. I gotta do it. Like just like the last time when Greg beat me, I was like, I gotta beat him. Next time I beat him. So this time I was like, I gotta beat him. I gotta beat him. And then
So you're good with revenge.
no, I just hate losing. So it's like I need to beat him. I need to know that I'm good enough to beat him.
Yeah. Grudge John is stronger than regular John.
So me and Brendan went to Boston the day before, and Griffin was in Boston too. So we ended up like seeing him while we were playing because we were playing like Pokemon Go on the Common, and he was there too. And I was just like, you know. And then I was even like more fueled. I was like, I'm gonna beat him.
He is your Gary.
Yeah, he's like seriously. So he strolls in and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna get my second thing of badges today," and I was just like,
Cocky.
I was just like,
cocky.
"Oh, man." So it gets to the point that we're going through the tournaments, going through right before, so it's double elimination, and since the first one we didn't do double elimination, but since then we've done double elimination for our Ultra League tournament. So it gets to the point that the person who's undefeated the whole way goes to the championship, and then there's like kind of like a losers bracket where the losers all play each other, and then the winner of the losers plays the champ again, or the guy who's undefeated, or right, I don't know how it depends. Sometimes if they lose, whatever, you got to lose twice. So I played him like the last round before the championship, before someone had to go to the losers bracket, and he beat me straight twice.
Oh, jeez.
And I was just like, I don't understand. Like, I don't get it. So I go in, I go through the losers bracket. I come back. I'm like, all right, I'm not going to lose now. So we're playing, the first round, I beat him the first round. Or you know what? He didn't. I think he actually the first time I got him, I beat him once, and then it was like a 3-time thing. So the second round, I cleared him out twice in a row. So then I pushed that third matchup because we had essentially I had to beat him the best out of 3 2 times. So like 6 matches, I had to beat him 4 times basically in a row.
Okay.
Or almost in a row to actually win. So he beat me the first time, best 2 out of 3. I beat him 2 straight in the second matchup, and then in the third matchup we started to have a little lag because they were obviously streaming wrestling again.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And so it's definitely the wrestling. Hands down, it's the wrestling. We started streaming the wrestling, and so at this point I was up 3 Pokemon to 1, and we got a lag, and he quit out. So I was just like,
damn. Yeah.
So I'm like, why'd you quit? I was like, it was a little lag. We should have like waited it out to see if it was like a bad, sometimes it'll lag for a minute and then you'll be fine. And he was like, I was just like, come on, man. I was like, I was up 3. So Sam was sitting next to me because he was obviously, the weather also stopped all of our other members from coming. So we were the only 2 judges.
Oh.
So he had to be like the sole judge.
Yeah.
So he had no one else to kind of like vote with him over. Like if there's like a complication, all the judges could be like, oh, I think this, that, and then like all the votes, would decide the outcome or whatever. So I'm just like, well, clearly he had no chance of winning. I was going to beat him. I had 3 Pokemon to his 1, and I had a shield left. So there's no way I would have lost. And he was like, you don't know that. So I'm like, Sam, tell me. Like, and then he was like, well, and I just think that he just didn't want to piss anyone off since he was the only judge too. He was like, let's just run it back with the same teams. And I was so mad at this point. I was so angry. I was just like, oh, like. So then I come back and I destroy him the next round. So I need one more win now. And then he comes back and he destroys me. I don't know what it was. I guess like at this point I got cocky and I just used the same team. And this is so like the last time he has like a notebook and he writes everything down.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So he was just like writing everything. So I'm assuming he was even writing like the guys I start with.
Yeah.
So like he knew how to counter right away.
Man.
So I'm just like, so that's the final round. I'm like, I got to do something. I know I can beat him. I've beaten him a bunch of times now. I just need to got to do something drastic that he wouldn't expect because he's already writing down and knows like what, you know what I mean? Like he's like, well, he could either do this or do that. So I went the complete opposite. So the Pokemon that I had as my anchor every time, it was like usually the one I'd use third or sometimes maybe I'd use second, but I never used it first. I was like, he'll never guess I'm going to use it first. Yeah. So I tossed it in, I used it first, and I just like annihilated him. And he was just like, I didn't think you'd do that. Like, and I was like, yeah, I know.
Wasn't in your notes, was it?
Wasn't in your... And so I ended up winning. It was like the greatest feeling. And, then, so he barely would talk to me unless he had like some kind of smack talk or, so then after he was like asking me like what moves some of my Pokemon had or asking me kind of advice. And then we kind of came like, I guess, I don't know, friendlier, I guess. We started having conversations of like, oh, this Pokemon should have this and that. So it was nice. And then, so at the time of like the awards and stuff, I was picking through either the first set of badges or the Johto badges. And he was like, oh, you got to go first set. And I was like, oh, no, I'm taking these. So I obviously picked the Johto badges. Also, too, kind of to screw him even more because he had the first set already. Oh, so it's like now, next time if he wins, the second set's already gone. So it's like, sorry, bud. Like, I'm sure we'll get more sets, but because we'll need him for the future. But it was very satisfying. It was the most intense Pokemon I've ever played. Like legitimately, like I was sweating. Like it was the most intense. Like it felt like I was like Rocky and like Rocky 2. Wow. And it was like my redemption from getting knocked out by Apollo Creed. Yeah. So it was definitely back and forth, and it was like it got to the point that everybody in the place was watching, even like the people who weren't playing. Like there was like little kids and stuff. They were having a party for their daughter, so like a bunch of people were just like standing around watching, like how intense it was, and people were like, "They're so intense with their finger tapping." Just like we were just like going in, like I don't know. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, even though a lot of people didn't show up. It was a lot of fun. Also, finished Return of Wolverine. I also finished The Death of Daredevil. It's the last arc of Charles Soule's Daredevil run. Charles Soule also writes The Return of Wolverine. I don't want to go too much longer because I took a lot of the time already. Death of Daredevil was really, really good, as expected, just like the rest of the run was. The ending was kind of a twist. I didn't expect it. Still good, just not what I expected. Return of Wolverine. 5th issue. I had high hopes. And I'm going to preface this with, I love Charles Soule, and I think he's a great writer.
Mm-hmm.
Trash.
Ooh.
Trash.
Wow.
I love Wolverine.
Do we know why he's back yet? Was that ever addressed?
So you know why, I guess, but it's like a really crappy way why he's back.
Okay.
So basically, this Persephone character has the ability to bring people back to life. But they're like basically like her zombies, kind of. But because he has a healing factor, he was able to like, at first he was kind of like her zombie and she was having him like do bad stuff, and this was set before. So in the Return of Wolverine, he's already back before it. You just don't know how he's back.
Okay.
And at the end, you find out that she brought him back, and because he has the healing factor, it just took longer to like kick in. And that's why he didn't have a memory at first, because it was like healing him from like, because she brings them back, they're kind of like just a brain dead like zombie basically, like her,
Sure.
she controls them.
Yeah.
I mean, they're still alive.
They're
They're
like a
just
husk.
kind of, yeah.
Okay.
So he's like that at first, but because the healing factor's healing him up, he starts to get his memories back, and now he's basically like he's back to normal.
Okay.
And I'm assuming this is set before he originally, that first moment he comes back where he just rolls up in a beer truck with a beer in his hand. He's like, "What's up, bub?" Like,
Yeah.
you know, because there was no bubs until the very
No.
end of this. Like, then he started getting his memory back. It was just like so uneventful, and
Yeah.
I just feel like, I don't know, it just wasn't good. It wasn't your typical Charles Soule comic. Like, I feel like the first issue had so much potential, and there were so many things, so many questions, and so many things he could have done. And you're thinking like, oh, is he really dead? Is he really in limbo right now? Is this like an allegory for like hell and Greek mythology? Like all this like thing that gets you going. And it was legitimately just the most straightforward, no, Wolverine's alive, and it's like he's just going to this island to find this woman, and that's
Back
it.
to normal. Just
It's-
back to normal.
It's just like the most straightforward, bland, like uneventful thing I've
Okay.
ever read. And I'm just like, but you want to know the best part?
What?
You don't know why he's got flame claws. They don't tell you why. He just got him.
Just has
He
him.
just has them. You don't
Okay.
know why.
Cool.
It's not like this girl brings people back and gives them powers.
Yeah.
He just got flame claws. You don't know why. He uses them in like the first or second, and you don't see him again. So I don't know what it is.
Okay.
I don't know why
Sure.
he's got flame claws. I don't
Because
know.
why not? That's why.
And no one knows why. And people are like putting on theories online of like, hey, Charles Soule, is it this? And he's like, no.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you're gonna tell us? Like, why does he have flame claws? Like, the lamest way of how he came back to life,
Yeah.
kind of. I mean, I guess it's okay. I just had like no substance, kind of. I don't know. It just wasn't that great.
Yeah, that's disappointing.
Yeah, it was really disappointing.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Mitch read it, but maybe we'll talk to him briefly about it too. And then finally, I beat the Elite Four in Let's Go Pikachu.
Nice. Good
Yeah.
job.
But my Switch died right as I beat it. So so I beat it. It saves, and Oak's like, "Why don't you come with me in this next room?" And I'm like, "Okay." And I'm like walking into the next room, and it just dies.
You could plug it in.
I had it like I was playing handheld. Like the one time I play handheld.
You can
And
still
I'm-
plug it in.
No, sure, but
Why do things die on you?
At that
your,
point-
your PS3,
Yeah,
or your
really.
PS3.
oh no, it didn't die. Like the PS3 just died and couldn't be played again.
No, I know, but
This just ran out of
no,
battery.
But at the most crucial times, or like
Yeah.
close to the most crucial times,
And
things die on you.
it was already like 4 a.m, so I just like stuck it in the thing, and I was like, I'm going to bed. So I haven't seen the credits yet. I don't know what the credits look like. I don't know what happens. I don't know what Oak does to you in the room. He could like assault me in the room. He could like drug me. I have no idea what Oak does to me.
It turns very adult themed.
Yeah, I
after that.
figured. Yeah,
Turns into a whole new game.
I know. I noticed that the first couple buttons in his shirt under his overcoat were unbuttoned. So
Whoa.
I was like, "What's Oak gonna do to me?" Oh, so yeah. I mean, the Elite Four was super easy, and here's why. I know I'm taking all the time, and this is what happens when I go first. In past games, you couldn't switch Pokemon out. You'd have to like set your team, and that was it. Now that your Pokemon's in your bag, if a Pokemon faints, you can just switch to another add another Pokemon to your party.
Yeah. No, you could always switch Pokemon. You could always switch them.
No, so you have 6.
Yes.
If you want someone out of that 6, you have to go to a Poke Center to change them out.
Oh, that's what. Yes.
So if one of your 6 dies, so for example, I started it with having my Hitmonchan in, and he got blasted. He got destroyed. So I just took him out and put in like my Mew or another Pokemon.
So you could have like 10 level 50s.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. That's basically what I did. I rotate between like 8 level 50s.
Yep.
So Hitmonchan went down, and instead of just reviving him, because for some reason I thought I only had 6 revives, I ended up buying 66. But I didn't know that until like towards the end.
You've got plenty of revives then,
or like full restores, whatever the hell it was.
Yeah.
So he got smoked, and I was like, "Oh, you're out of here." So it's just like so easy because now you could just put in any Pokemon you want.
I didn't even think of doing that, to be honest. I totally forgot you could even do that.
Yeah, you could. So the Elite Four was
That's good to know for me going forward. Yeah. I'm going to keep that in mind.
The other thing I noticed is that they do not use restores during battle.
Oh, that's what I thought too. But
until the very last one,
your dude Lance does too. So I blew out his Dragonite, and he was like, "Yeah, you're not taking out my Dragonite that easy." Boom, Dragonite's back.
I hate that.
Yeah,
and
then your buddy, like your rival, he's like the dirtiest dude. He's got like a Pidgeot, and it can go into like Mega Pidgeot, and he just like shoots like sand in your eyes the whole time, so your accuracy's trash, so you can't hit him. And then he's like picking off your dudes, and then when you finally get his Pidgeot like down, because now you can hit it like after having your accuracy down so low, he full restores his Pidgeot, and you're like, you degenerate.
People who use Sand Attack that much to be arrested.
Yeah,
just really
it got to the point that it says like, your accuracy is so low, like you're not affected anymore. Like he legitimately, I was like blind. I was like Stevie Wonder, like trying to attack him. Like it was just
your accuracy is so low you couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat.
Yeah, I was hitting like moves, like trying to hit him with moves, like dodging everything. I was just like, get the hell out of here.
That's not good.
And then after you get hit by his Pidgeot, I was just like, then I smoked him. Yeah. So I ended up losing like the Hitmonchan, and then I lost like one of my other Pokemon that I just revived and full restored. So I lost like 2 Pokemon, the whole 5 people. Yeah. So I mean, it was super easy. I felt, I don't know, a little too easy for me. And my guys weren't even that great. They were like between 50 and 58. So
see, I feel like you're setting me up here because I haven't gotten to the Elite Four yet, and now I'm like, oh, okay, this sounds pretty easy. I'm gonna waltz in there and get my ass handed to me in a high hat.
So I would set your guy. So for me, every gym I gave myself a level cap. So if I needed to do something, so for the final gym, I was like, all my guys gotta be Sabrina's gym. I was like, all my guys gotta be 50.
They actually do that for you already.
Yeah, but the level gaps are crazy.
When you walk into a gym, the guy at the front door doesn't let you in unless you have.
But I wanted my gap higher than that. Just because, I don't know. I wanted it to be higher than theirs. So, like, at the final level, I was like, oh, my guy's going to be, like, 55 or up, for the final gym or whatever. And, I don't know. It's not as... In the beginning, it was really hard, I felt. But then once you figured out that you could switch in anything you wanted or do stuff like that, it just...
I didn't even think of that. I totally forgot.
I didn't either. That's good to know. Yeah.
Yeah, I figured it out. I was just like, oh, wow, can I do this? And... yeah, I don't know. I still like it. I mean, maybe when you go around again and fight the gym leaders a second time, or you fight those master trainers, maybe they'll be tough. But
that almost seems cheap too. That's like,
it's super cheap. I kind of wish they didn't allow you to have once you have a set team, I wish they wouldn't let you change it, like just for the elite or anything. Like when you go in a gym, I don't know. Yeah. It just wasn't. I don't know. It wasn't fair to them.
I guess not.
Trying to be fair to the people, my rival got smoked, and maybe he wouldn't have if I couldn't have put guys in. Well, then I had 66 restores anyway.
Well, yeah,
so
I was going to say, you're pretty well stocked on revives there.
I probably could have.
You had a whole pharmacy of revives.
I meant to buy 6, but I guess I just hit 66 or something. I don't know what I did. I was like, 66? So,
hey,
yeah. All right. What did you guys do? I took the whole time.
Well, I didn't do a whole lot.
You died.
obviously. Yeah, no. The few parts of last week that I was awake for, I spent playing Devil May Cry 5.
Ooh, how was it?
Oh, that game is good.
Ah.
That game is it might be the best in the whole series. I'm not kidding. It's if you haven't picked it up yet, if you're a fan of the series, you need to.
So now you have to come into the studio with Devil May Cry and Spider-Man.
Yeah, I guess. Although I didn't buy a disc for either of them, they're digital copies.
Bring in your
so-
system.
Oh, great! Yeah, I'll just bring
and
the
leave
whole
it here.
system.
I'll lock the door.
Oh,
So
yeah,
hold on.
right.
The question is, if you logged in, like say you put in your gamer thinger, I don't know if it's the same
My
as
gamer thinger.
yeah, I don't know. On Xbox, it's called a gamer tag. I don't know if it's the
You
same.
mean my
on...
PSN ID?
Sure.
Okay,
Okay, your
yeah.
PSN ID.
Yeah,
It's gonna be so
right.
sophisticated.
Yeah.
Your
Yeah,
PSN
when you play a
ID.
real system, yeah, things are
So your
sophisticated.
PSN ID, if
Mhm.
you logged in on the studio's PlayStation,
Yeah.
would it let you play those games? Because my Xbox
I'd
would
have
let
to
me do.
re-download them
You have to
again, but
re-download
yeah.
it to the system.
Oh,
Which will take
then it-
hours.
So that'd take hours.
Yes, it would.
Sometimes it takes hours.
The
Yeah.
PlayStation's trash
These-
then.
no, these are big files. See, when you have real games on your system, like the PlayStation does, not these stupid.
Listen,
Xbox
both
ones,
of those games.
They
Well, not
take
both
some
of them,
time.
but
No, most new games.
I can
like
get
for
Devil May
example,
Cry
like Call
on-
of Duty and Devil May Cry and all these new games are no less than 60 gigabytes.
Yeah, they're 60 gig.
they're
generally.
they're very large games.
Yeah.
So it takes a long
Devil
time.
May Cry shouldn't be that long.
It's not about it
It's
being
probably
long.
like-
It's
It's
just
the
that there's so
graphics.
much in it.
It's the graphic
that
that
the
take up the most
file is
space.
big.
Yeah, the file of the game is
The
huge.
game itself is a
some-
standard
Get some
Devil May Cry
quality
game.
internet in the studio so we can download it fast.
He's not downloading it in the studio. He's downloading it at home.
I'm saying if he brought it in so we could download so you could play it.
Doesn't matter. It's the game that takes a while, not
Yeah.
the internet.
I don't know. I
The
feel
files
like
are big.
I feel like it should be that long.
It is.
I've seen Xbox game take hours to
Yeah.
download too.
Surprised Xbox can even download anything without it crashing.
I've never had. For one, my Xbox has never crashed.
Okay, let me ask you this: When was the last time you downloaded a game,
Yeah.
John?
Fallout 4 probably.
Okay.
How
And how long did that take?
Not that long.
how old is that game for actually? What?
But it's a couple
Fallout
years
4?
old. It's a while.
Yeah, 4 or 5 years
It's
old.
a while.
yeah, so the games were a lot smaller back then.
Fallout 4 was huge.
Yeah, but I doubt it was even 60 gig.
I'll look into this.
But either way, Devil May Cry 5 is probably the best game in the whole series. I'm not kidding. It's probably the best
So
one they've
Fallout
ever done.
4 is only 28 gigabytes.
Oh, that's nothing. Yeah.
How? I don't understand that.
It's just the file size. The size
Just
of the game
file
itself.
size, Yep.
That's all.
The
it
game itself might be a big game, but the file size may not. And Fallout 4 is trash, so there's probably not a whole lot.
It was
in
not trash.
there. It was.
You're like one
Oh
of the
my
only
God.
people that hate it.
Fallout 4?
Yes.
Oh.
Fallout 4 was not that bad.
Oh man.
It was not bad. It was pretty good.
We should put out a poll.
Put it out.
On static. We're gonna do this on Twitter.
This new Fallout's trash.
Was Fallout 4? Yeah, Fallout 76. Yeah. No,
yeah, that's
a
pure
whole
trash.
separate- That's a
pure
whole separate
trash.
issue.
Fallout 4 was
Fallout
good.
4 was trash.
It was good.
Oh.
You
We're
could
gonna
make
we're
the-
gonna do a poll.
You could make the argument that it wasn't as good as 3.
It definitely wasn't.
Mm,
It was nowhere close.
I never beat it, so I can't tell you.
Oof.
I don't know. But, yeah. I guarantee you a lot of people
We're-
say it's not trash.
We're gonna put out a poll.
A lot of
'cause
people love
I think
it.
you'll be surprised.
No, it's a good game.
Fallout 4 is generally regarded as a pile of trash.
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
No
Oh,
way.
yeah.
No
Oh,
way.
yeah.
The first
That's why they had to rush 76, because 4 was so bad that they're like, crap, we need to recover.
No.
And they tried to rush 76, and then
No
they made
way.
it even worse. Yes.
So that-
all right, we're gonna go to break, and we're gonna look
really
into
quick,
this.
just so you know, John. So Fallout 4 was only 28 gigabytes.
Sure.
Devil May Cry 5 actually is not that much bigger. It's only 33.
Ah.
But Black Ops, the Call of Duty Black Ops, is 55.
Why though?
But
That should
they
be even
recommend you have
smaller.
100.
Yeah.
That should be even smaller though.
I think Assassin's Creed was like 65.
So a lot of the new games, and I'm assuming
I could see
Spider-Man is one of them.
Assassin's Creed
I didn't look up Spider-Man, but all the new
Spider-Man, I
games
think, was around 40.
are like 40, 50, 60
Yeah.
I
gigs,
could see
so.
Assassin's Creed being this newer one being pretty big.
Yeah, they all are.
'Cause
They're
it's
all
open
around
and stuff.
60. Yeah.
But that's crazy. I don't know.
But anyway,
Yeah.
so
Well, we'll definitely put that poll up because it's
Yeah,
not
we're gonna
trash.
have to.
It's
Yeah,
not trash.
It is.
It's not trash. You're like one of the only people I've ever heard call
Well,
it
you're
trash.
gonna find a lot more.
No
Trust
way.
me.
No way.
Trust me.
All right, we're gonna go to a quick break. We're gonna find out if we're gonna look into Fallout 4 being trash or not, because it's clearly not. And we'll be back with Mitch to talk plenty of things. So stay tuned. Not trash. Not trash.
big file size.
Here on the Go Network, and we are joined by our friend, the King of the Nerds, the Conjurer of Cons, the president of promotion, Mitch Hallock. Mitch,
Hey,
how
man.
are you?
I'm busier than a one-armed paper hanger, as my mom would say, or a clothes hanger. I never got that. Coat hanger. Whatever. I'm busy. Like a rat on crack, man.
So that's pretty intense. A rat on crack. So
yeah, baby. Yeah, that's painful.
So normally on the show we're always talking about Terrificon, your main Comic-Con that you always have every summer, the best show on the East Coast, the con of the summer.
Straight.
But this
Yeah,
weekend you're having your secondary show. Well, I shouldn't call it the secondary show. The second show you do each year, CT GamerCon. So tell us about that, Mitch. Let's talk about CT GamerCon.
Well, you got when we started doing the show at the Mohegan Sun in Uncasville, Connecticut. I had so much room. And one of the things that we had upstairs was a lot of empty conference rooms. And my two teenage boys, they were teenagers at the time, they love video games. They love that. They don't love comics. They love video games. So I was talking to them, and I said, hey, maybe we'll get some games. So I went to PAX, because we go every year to PAX East, and I was walking around, and I bumped into a fellow named Jamie York, and he he owns a company called Games Underground. And I started talking to him. I said, hey, look, I got this idea to do some video game stuff at my comic convention. He said, all right. So I brought Jamie on, and we just had like a conference room set up, and we had Guitar Hero and some, Mario Kart and whatever. It was just free play. And, dude, the line was nonstop. I mean, that place was hopping all weekend. So then we did it again the second year. Yeah, it was crazy. And then we also had a bunch of guys doing Magic the Gathering. My friend from a store called Dragon's Lair here in Connecticut. And, again, this was just really to fill the rooms because, you're renting them. You might as well use them. And it was all open to the public. And that was a packed room, too. And we had done, like, gaming before years ago. And then I was like, maybe we'll do more Magic the Gathering because I'm more of a comic book guy because I was like, hey, any Hero Clicks? But nobody was really playing Hero Clicks because I just like the little Marvel and DC characters. So Mohegan, they love Terrificon, and they said, do you want to do another comic book show? And I said, no, I don't want to do, I don't want to do 2 comic shows a year at Mohegan because it dilutes it, So what he called it? I said, let's do a gaming show. So we called it GamerCon. And we really didn't know what it was going to be. The model was your mom's basement, your parents' basement. You go down there. It's kind of dark. There's a lot of video games, just the glow of the monitors. That's the only light you'll see. And then I threw some dealers in there. And none of the dealers wanted to go, too, the first year. They were like, what the hell is this? I go, it's your mom's basement, man, with video games. And they're like, what? And I said, that's what I want it to be. If I could put paneling up and big beanbag chairs everywhere, I would have. And that's all I wanted it to seem like you're in the basement having fun. And, dude, it was crazy. I think we had 8,000 people the first year, 6,000 or 8,000. And I thought there was going to be like 1,200 people because I was looking at the ticket sales. I go, it is what it is. Maybe 1,200 people. But it rocked. And people were like, oh, can we stay open later? Because originally I closed it at 9, and I learned a valuable lesson, Johnny. Gamer people are not like Comic-Con people. They're not there at 9 in the morning. No, I didn't know that. And, I mean, when the doors opened at 10, there was nobody there, and I was like, oh, this is a disaster. And then, like, at 3 o'clock, people started showing up. I'm like, where the hell were they? And guy goes, dude, I just got up at 1. and they stayed, and we actually had to keep it open later because they wanted to play till 2 or 3 in the morning.
Right, yeah.
And I'm like, what are you talking about? I've been here since like 8 in the morning. Like 8 in the morning, I go to bed at 8.
Yeah,
so,
we tend to be night creatures, us gamers.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So I learned my lesson. So, and then the second year we did it, we switched the hours up. So we don't start the tournaments in the video game part until about noon, and that goes late, like 9 or 10 still, and it can go later. And it's just a blast, I mean, we sell pizza slices, monster drinks. We've got free-to-play arcade games out front if you want to go the old-fashioned way and play some pinball. And then you go in there and you can play tournaments. And if you're really good, you could win money. If you go like round after round and beat the champion, you can get some cash. And even if you're a kid and you do free play, we give away Funko Pops.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
to the younger kids for free play. And then we got live music. We got a couple great bands called Lane Genie. They play up there a lot in Massachusetts. And the other one's Super Thrash Brothers, who
yeah.
are crazy. They wear this headgear. It's nuts to see them. I love those guys. And then we got Pixelate. They're from Harvard, up near you.
Okay.
And they drive down there in an a cappella group, and they sing the theme song to video games.
Oh.
That's awesome.
Oh, and it's just cool to watch them, dude. It's really cool. And it's just fun. It's for 2 days. It's only $20 to get in. And you can stay all day, all night, and we don't throw you out. And what more could you want? I mean, it's still cold outside, so you can just hang out here, play some music, and play some video games, eat some pizza, go shopping for Funko Pops and, gaming stuff. Some comic book stuff will be there. It's just a fun little show, So,
Yeah, it sounds like it.
not everything's got to be Terrificon. Not everything's got to be to the 9th level where we bring in like every comic creator from here to Mars and back. So, but that's it in a nutshell. It's 2 days of nonstop gaming fun. There's Fortnite, there's Smash Brothers tournaments, there's Mario Kart, there's Injustice because I'm a comic book guy, so I had to throw that in there, and Soul Calibur, Tekken, Dragon Ball Z. There's a bunch of stuff.
Sounds like you
That's
got
it.
all
That's
the
what they're missing,
games
man.
that you need. All the top fighting games right now you have there, so that's good.
Yeah, and then we have these big theater-style setups. So, like, when the champions go to play, they're up on stage, and we have these massive movie screens. And there's an audience, so you just basically it's like watching a Rocky fight. And everyone's cheering for, like, the local guy versus, the nationwide champion, So, it's fun to watch. It's on, and if you can't make it, you can watch it all on Twitch. And the links are on our website. Yeah, there's a bunch of different Twitch streams you can get into.
So
There you go.
how we met Jamie was I started organizing Pokemon Go tournaments. I'm a big Pokemon Go player, and now they have like player versus player in the game. So we went to Game Underground to start doing our Pokemon tournaments. They host them there for us. So that's how we met Jamie and everything. So now we do a monthly Pokemon Go tournament at his place. So then he started saying, like when we were planning the next one, he's like, oh, I'm going to be at CT GamerCon. I was like, oh, like we have Mitch on the show all the time. So then we started getting into a conversation about you. Then I was like, oh, we're going to have you on the show. So then he came on the show a couple weeks ago, and we talked about it and talked about like how he met you and, our love for you and your cons and stuff. So he's a great guy.
Jamie puts me to shame when it comes to talking. I thought I was a good talker, but Jamie can talk me into the table sometimes. So.
See, he says the reverse for you. It's funny. It's funny. He says like he's a talker, but you're like the talker. But it's funny that you guys said the exact same thing.
When I get with Jamie, I go, dude, stop talking. What? I'm like, dude, stop talking. So, wait till I see that guy this weekend. I tell you.
Yeah, we saw him last weekend. We went to Northeast Comic-Con.
Yeah, he'll be at PAX next weekend.
Yeah,
up there. Yeah.
So we saw him there, and he had a nice little room set up at Northeast for like playing games and buying games.
Yeah.
And so
how was Gary's new show? That's at his new location, right?
Yeah, it was all right. Just being honest, the cosplay they had like a lot of really good cosplayers. I don't know. I think it's because it was in like the venue was a little weird the way they had things set up. So it was like in like the courtyard of like a hotel kind of. So they had certain like big celebrities like in this little hallway kind of. So if they got a line, you couldn't even walk through the hall. So he had like Gilbert Godfrey there, and you couldn't even get to him because he had a line. Or if you wanted to just go on to the other parts of the con, it was like kind of like torture getting through like the line if you needed to. Other than that, I mean, it was a smaller con. It was almost kind of like the beginning, like when you started out like Terrificon and stuff, when it was on the smaller scale before you moved to like Mohegan and stuff, which isn't bad. Nothing's wrong with that. It was just smaller, and I feel that it wasn't as the placement wasn't as great as it could have been, but it wasn't bad. He had a lot of great. There was a lot of great vendors there. There was some cool comic people there. Joe St. Pierre was there.
Yeah, I think Joe Caramagna was there.
Yeah, we talked to both of them. We even talked to them about you too. So you're like my in now, Mitch. I'll be like, hey, like we have Mitch on the show, and they're
Mitch
like,
Hallock,
oh,
that son of a. Oh yeah, I know Mitch.
Yeah. One of them was like, yeah, he just texted me not that long ago about a cheeseburger or something. I was like, all right.
That's Caramagna. Yeah, the dude's an eating machine. Yeah.
He was like, you just told me about a cheeseburger. I was like, all right. So I mean, it was a good little show.
Weighs nothing. He eats donuts like they're going out of style. But I tell you,
but yeah,
I wish I could be Joe Caramagna.
It was a good little show, but again, I guess we're spoiled with going to your show because nothing really compares to going to Terrificon. Honestly, I feel.
Yeah, well.
Not everybody can be. Honestly, I haven't been to Boston since they changed over to what are they pop whatever now. I don't know what
Fan Expo.
Fan Expo, yeah. See, I'm not a big fan of like the Fan Expo experience, so I haven't went since they switched. But maybe this year, maybe I'll check them out. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just feel like anytime you go to like a Fan Expo, it's just like
they haven't announced any guests yet.
No, right?
Like, what the hell, man? I'm sitting there holding back. I mean, I've got so many guests. I'm like, oh, maybe I shouldn't show off. I'm not doing it to be a jerk or anything. I'm just like, does anybody else have guests coming or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. Those Fan Expos, they just try to hit your wallet, it seems, and not your heart.
Yeah.
Which
Well, it is what it is. Everyone's got their own different versions. I mean, Gary does his shows, and I do my shows, and they do their shows. We're all different. It's like anything else. Go to a pizza restaurant, you get certain kind of pizza.
Sure, yeah.
It's all good. It's all good. Everybody has a good time. It's just different ways of doing the same thing. That's all.
I like how diplomatic you are about it. Instead of being like, you know what, those shows suck. Like you're like,
no, I would never say that. I would never say that. That would be too. Let the fans pick the shows they like.
Oh, sure, yeah. Well, like I said, as a fan, I used to love going to Boston Comic-Con. Once they switched over,
I loved Boston Comic-Con. Jimmy Talbot, a friend of mine who used to run it. It was a fantastic show. It was like the best around.
But then they sold it off to Fan Expo, and anytime I went to anything Fan Expo related or, just, I don't know, just not a good time. So I haven't been back.
Well, obviously people like it because they get about 40,000, 50,000
Of course,
people.
yeah,
That's a
no.
lot of people, man.
People definitely do like it, or they, I don't know. It seems like a lot of people enjoy a pop culture con, and that's what I feel Boston's turned into. It's more of like, that celebrity that you get to sit down with for like a minute and get pushed away.
Right.
But
right. Well, there are different shows. I mean, there's no doubt about that. I mean, you've got comic book shows like mine's Pure Comics, not so much celebrities, and then you got the big celebrity shows where that's all you see is the pop culture. So I mean, you got a bunch of different ones.
Yeah, and now there's things for everything. There's Minecraft and
oh yeah,
there's so many different conventions now.
Yeah, they do have. They have a lot of horror conventions. They got tattoo conventions now. There's the convention landscape has definitely changed. It's almost like watch reality TV. Anything that they have a TV show based on, they could be a convention. That's why they had a Kardashian Con tomorrow. It would make big money. Kardashian Con or something.
Yeah, I
probably
believe
is
it.
one that exists. We just don't know.
Yeah,
about
there probably is. I know there was like a Lost Con and there's so many shows.
There was a Game of Thrones con. There's the Supernatural guys have their own show. The 100, which is a show I didn't even know was still on, but apparently they have their own convention.
Wow.
The Walking Dead had Walker Stalker.
Yep. Walker Stalker was a lot of fun.
Heroes and Villains. That's the CW shows.
Wow.
The Arrow and all that guys. And then there's Star Trek used to be big when I was a kid. Star Trek 7. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, like I said, there's a show literally for everybody. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a knitting con,
Well, I know there's like a boat show or trailers and boat shows or something.
Yeah, man.
So There's definitely something for everybody. Everybody gets something they want to get into.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. But,
So
I'm a comic book guy. I'm just that. I mean,
So
that's what I do.
for anybody that's on the fence right now about CT GamerCon, pitch them.
Yeah.
Why should they be there this weekend?
Well, what else you got to do? That's it. That's it in a nutshell. Mitch Hallock says, come down. What else are you going to do? No, like I said, it's hey, man, a movie, you pay $14-15, you're out of there an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. This, $20, you're there all day. It's like going to Disney World. You just hang out. Plus, you're at a great venue. You're at the Mohegan Sun. You could go walk around there. If you're lucky, you can go gamble. You could also go to the restaurants. They've got a new Western bar there. You could ride the mechanical horse and get thrown through the air if you want. There's all kind of things going on there. It's a nice venue. So you don't have to. And they got a Kiss concert this weekend, too.
Oh, really?
Kiss's final tour, so you can try to go get some tickets. I think it's sold out, but you never know.
So you can party all night. Or whatever their song is.
Friday night, my wife's killing me because they got the Blake Shelton guy. I don't get into country. He's there Friday. So she's like, can't we get tickets? I'm like, no, I'm going to be busy putting the show together, So but there's always something to do there. It's kind of like the Star Wars bar. You don't know who's gonna walk into that place and what's going on there.
So the show
that's
is
a long roundabout way. So yeah, why not? Why not? I'll be there. Why don't? What else do you need to know?
That's true.
The king of the nerds will be holding court.
So the show is Saturday and Sunday.
Saturday and Sunday, open. The doors open to the public at 11 o'clock. It goes till 9 on Saturday and 11 to 5 on Sunday.
Okay.
So come on down and play some games, baby.
All right. It does sound like a lot of fun. How about any news on Terrificon? Any more guests that are popping out?
Well, I don't even remember who I told you last time, but like I told you, you guys can answer me a question. I've got some folks that worked on Detective Comics 1000. That comes out next Wednesday.
Yeah.
So should I put them out next week so people could get the book and ride the hype and go, oh, yeah, let me buy that book. I'll bring it to Terrificon and get an autograph. Or should I start putting them out tomorrow in leading up to Detective 1000 Wednesday?
I'd put them out tomorrow because then they're going to be like, whoa, they're there, and then they're going to buy the book, and then they're going to be like, I got to get this signed.
Get that hype train rolling. Yeah.
Yeah, I would put it out tomorrow because then they're going to be like, oh, man.
I have them all done. It's just me putting them on social media. I'm just like, it's crazy doing two shows at once. Let me tell you that. I'm doing GamerCon when you called, and then I'll go back to Terrificon. And tomorrow I'm driving all the way up to see Jim Starlin. I'll be at his house tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
For a couple hours. And then I got to come home, and it's my kid's birthday. So, yeah, it's a busy week. It's a busy week for the King of the Nerds. All right, you guys made up my mind. Tomorrow, check out the social media for Terrificon. I'll put one guest a day between now and Batman Detective 1000. How about that? Between now and next Wednesday.
And I'll be sure to retweet it and get it out there.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I appreciate that. It's all Batman. Here's how I'm going to do it, guys. Batman month is this month, culminating in the big 1000th issue next month. Next month's got to be to the Avengers, right? I mean, everyone's talking about it. So anybody that I have that's connected to the Infinity War books or the Avengers comics or Marvel in general, that'll be next month's theme. Then for May, I might as well start putting some of the movie actors out there, get some of those guys going. And then June, heck, we're less than 2 months away from Terrificon. And then maybe I'll just put some old returning favorites, like Jerry Ordway and Paul Kupperberg. Maybe some cosplayers, some people like that. And that's it. And then just open the doors in August,
Sounds like a good plan to me.
That's my roadmap. You guys are my sounding board. I'm like, how do you feel about that? I don't want to put all of them out at once. Like if I dumped 30 names tomorrow, you guys wouldn't know what hit you. You really wouldn't. You'd be like, that guy's there. That guy's there. Ooh,
I love that you put them out sporadically because generally most conventions just toss everything out for the most part.
Yeah.
So
They
then you
do.
go on the list and you might overlook people, or you might be like, oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
But with you, you're popping out all these names every week, and it's like usually they're bigger. Like you're like, oh, this guy's there. Oh man, this guy's here. And then a week later,
Well,
wow, this
I
guy's
like
here
to
too.
Give each artist and writer their own spotlight. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And it's like, why should you just lump Chris Claremont up with J. Michael Straczynski, with Jim Steranko, with Clay Mann? Why would you put all four of them out at one time when each one of those guys deserves to have their own moment in the sun for
Right.
a couple days? You know. So that's the way I do it. I don't really go for jamming 20 people down your throat at once. You know.
I think as a fan, I like it that
Yeah.
way too. I think it's more thrilling to, oh, what does he
Yeah.
got for me next week? Like, what am I getting next
Yeah,
week?
yeah, it gives you something, and it gives you something to keep coming back for because you don't know who's going to pop up next. you know?
Right. Yeah, it's
So that's
definitely.
that's the method to the madness to the promotion game for the comic book shows. And here's another thing too. I mean, you're on podcasting. I'm on podcasts. I'm on the radio. Do you guys follow Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or all of it?
We have all of it.
All of it, yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
Where
But
do you get your news from?
Twitter for me,
Do you?
mostly, yeah.
so I usually find stuff. I'm usually I don't know how to work Twitter that well. I feel like an old person
Yeah.
when I say that.
Yeah,
but
I don't enjoy it. Thank God they added more characters. It makes life a little easier now.
so me, I usually get my news from Facebook. So all the shows
Okay.
that I follow, sometimes you'll post stuff and I'll see it, or
Yeah.
I follow comicbook.com. I follow
Yeah,
a bunch of nerd sites. I follow Bleeding Cool, but I don't always trust them.
Yeah. Those guys are like the National Enquirer.
Yeah. So I usually get my news. I'll be scrolling through Facebook and, I'll get my news from there. Eventually I want it to be that people get their news from Static Rift, but, we'll get there
Oh,
one day.
all right. Well, that's the thing, because and here's the other thing, too. I look at what time of day I put stuff up. I mean, none of this stuff is by accident. I get up in the morning, and I want to put it up at like 7 or 8 o'clock, but people are either sleeping or getting ready for work or driving to work or
Yeah.
school. So they're not really – hopefully they're not checking their phone to see who's coming to the show at 8 in the morning. I don't want to get anybody in a car wreck. So I try to do it around 10 or 11 in the morning, figuring they're
That's like
settled
a
in.
perfect time.
Yep.
And then you don't want to do it at lunchtime because they're all eating lunch.
Right.
You don't want to do it at 12:30 because people don't care. I've even done some at night. I did one a couple weeks ago, like 6 o'clock on a Friday night, just to see how it would work. It actually got a lot of notices.
Yeah,
'cause
that's
I think
not
everybody
too-
was home.
I think that's around the best time, like right before a little bit before lunch, like that 10, 11 hour, and then afternoon, like 5, 6, because that's when everyone's out of work. They're they're online, they're looking at stuff. Like those are probably the best times to post stuff. Or then like maybe like actually like midday, like 2, 3 o'clock. Maybe.
Yeah, I'd say anywhere in
Yeah.
the drive time window from like 2 to 7, you could probably post stuff and it would get
It's a
traction.
good time. Yeah. And then Sundays are like, don't even bother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone's got this mindset, like, I don't know. I don't think they're going to church, but they're doing something because they don't really want to look at anything on Sunday.
They're having their day of rest.
Or they're getting ready for Monday, They don't want to think about anything. So
Or maybe they're just
Saturday's actually pretty busy, especially here. I mean, you're New England guys. If it's winter and you're stuck. I've gotten more responses during snowstorms because I know everyone else
yeah.
is home too.
Mhm.
And I post up and there's like 300 likes because we're all sitting home doing nothing.
Pretty much.
Yeah, that's a really good time too, when it's really crappy weather or a
Yeah.
rainstorm, or people are always on their phones at that point.
And the funny thing is Facebook, I don't know how much you guys use Facebook advertisement, but you can't put a lot of text in the Facebook ads because it's all visual. They have to have, less than 20% can be type.
Oh, really?
So,
Yeah, they're really picky
yeah,
about
so
their
I-
ads.
And I see some of these shows, they sponsor these ads. Like, I'm like, how come they get 10,000 likes to a guest announcement? And then you look in little letters, it says sponsored.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just an ad that they might be putting out there, and they're getting
So they're not genuine
fun.
likes. They're just one of those things that are put on the side of like your
Yeah.
Facebook thing. So everybody's
Oh,
seeing it, and then they're probably just liking it.
Yeah. Because I've had people come up to me and they go, "Hey, man, how come another show has 30,000 likes and you only have 22,000? Yet you get more people?" I said, "Because I'm not buying likes." They're like, "What?"
Yeah,
I said,
no, that's true.
I'd rather have physical bodies buy a ticket at my show than have an imaginary computer algorithm clicking like in Timbuktu. make it look like I have bigger numbers than I do. You know.
And I bet you some of those likes aren't even real people. They're like spam
They're
bots or
not.
something.
Yeah, a lot of
They're
them are
not.
bots. Yeah.
They're not at all. Google, there's a YouTube video of a like farm, a click farm. It's insane, dude. It's just like rows and rows of cell phones. And they're all like blinking on and off. And there's some kind of like mechanism that's clicking likes on stuff. It's just the weirdest thing you'll ever see.
That's crazy.
And it does what, though? Makes you feel good? You know, they've done studies actually that show like people get like almost like a chemical reaction in their brain, like they just took a hit of cocaine when they get likes on social media.
Oh,
I'm like,
I believe that.
Yeah, I believe it. 100%.
I totally believe it. And
no, it's like rats, man. It's like rats, you know, like when they test like sugar or alcohol or something, a drug, they'll get a lab rat and the thing keeps going back because it's addicted because it wants another hit. That's what they said getting likes on social media is like. You get this little serotonin comes out of your brain somewhere and you feel high for a second. Like, woo!
And
People
sometimes people kind of like evaluate you. They're like, "Oh, you only had 7 likes, or you only had 100
that's
likes."
a real thing, man.
Yeah, and
That's
if you don't have
totally
enough likes, they're like, "Get up."
Yeah.
No likes.
Yeah.
You only have how many followers? Ugh, get out of here.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. That happened on Twitter when it first started. I remember getting into it, and I said to my sons, they were teenagers, I go, "Hey, what do you call somebody that they follow more people than actually have followers that follow them?" And my son goes, "We call those losers, Dad." I'm like, wow, that's hard.
Ouch.
You know,
That's
like,
true.
I
though.
like 30,000 people, but only 2,000 people like me. They're like, loser. But it's just silly, though. I mean, but that's the world you live in nowadays. You know.
So you
Like, what's new
mentioned.
at the box office.
So you mentioned Detective Comics 1000, a big time
Yeah,
for
man.
Detective Comics. So let's get
Yep,
into since the last time you were on, we
Do
didn't
it.
really get into comics. So let's talk a little comics. It's been a while.
Mm.
So for me, DC, I've kind of dropped off. I still keep buying them. I have them. I got a big stack of DC that I haven't read
But you
yet.
haven't read them.
But yeah, I don't know. They haven't been that great.
I do that. Yeah.
I've been really like enthralled with Marvel lately. I feel like Marvel's been really doing a really good job.
Well, just talking briefly on that DC, the build up to 1000, they killed Alfred off. They killed Dr. Leslie Thompson or Tompkins, and it turned out to be a fake story. You know, you knew that Alfred wasn't dead. You
Wait,
knew that
time
they weren't
out.
gonna kill some of the main characters.
Who was the writer that killed them?
I think it's Pete Tomasi's doing the story. I think.
Oh, okay. I really
And-
like
and then-
Tomasi, so that's why I want to come back.
I do too, and he'll be one of the people I announce tomorrow. So I'm not going to say anything, but it's just a fake out. You know, there's just certain characters they're never going to get rid of. You know,
So, Daredevil. I talked about it at the
man.
beginning of the show. They had the whole death of Daredevil, and
yes, the Charles Soule book.
I love his run on Daredevil. It's one of my favorite runs. I know Mark Waid's run was great. I love that too. But I don't know, something about Charles's run was just special to me. You know, if you can get
great.
me to read 5 or 6 issues of just somebody in a court proceeding and make it fun, that's pretty special. And he did that. So I was so excited for this final arc. And don't get me wrong, I still thought it was great, but
Yeah, you didn't like how he got hit by a car.
total fake out, man, at the end. You know what I mean? Like, I was just like, really? This is how, you know what I mean? Like, I was expecting him to be dead. I was expecting somebody to replace him. I was expecting his brother to die in his place or something. And
Mike.
yeah, I was like, oh, Mike's toast. It's going to be Mike that dies or something. Nope, you don't get any of that. Like, I mean, I don't, I thought it was good. I was compelled. Like, I generally, like, I can see something coming and I'll be like, all right, this is what's going to happen. I totally didn't see it coming, but I just didn't expect it. But it was just like you said with the whole Alfred thing. Like, you knew he really wasn't going to be dead, you know?
Yeah,
like,
right.
especially with, another...
It kept you entertained. I mean, the whole basic of all comics, back when Stan Lee was doing them, and then Roy Thomas mentioned it too, is this: you have to give the reader the illusion of change. Okay, nothing's really changing in those books. Nothing. The main character is always going to revert back to the basic storyline. Here and there, they might get married or something, but you'll watch they'll relaunch it in 7 years and they'll start it back where it was. So Daredevil, it's a good story, but they can't change the fabric of the basic,
You know what I wish they
character.
didn't do, though? So, they put out that he was going to have his death of Daredevil, and you were like, oh, man.
It was called The Death of...
Right.
Yeah,
And you were like,
Matt
oh,
Murdock.
man, Matt's done. What's going to happen,
Right.
And then right when they announced that, 2 weeks later, they're like, Chip Zdarsky's taking over Daredevil. You're like, well, if Chip's taking over, they're not killing him. They're not going to, unless they have like another character be Daredevil, and then
No.
you know what I mean?
They
That's
did it with Batman.
right. It's possible. So then you're like thinking, well, he's either not dying or there's going to be another. So they try to fake you out, but you kind of felt, well, if he dies, it's not going to be. It's going to be super short, which it was. But
Oh, Johnny, you silly little boy! They were never going to kill Daredevil. Cut it out now.
But I really liked. I loved his Daredevil.
Yeah.
Now I loved.
Charles Soule's a lawyer. You know that.
Oh yeah, he's a lawyer. Yep, that's awesome. That's
So maybe that's why he made that court drama story so good.
Oh,
Like,
it was so
he did
good.
this for a living.
I remember when I first started reading it, I was like, "Oh, Charles, don't do this to me. I can't handle this." And then
Yeah.
I read it like all in like one sitting instead of generally
Yeah.
I'll like read an issue, maybe go to another comic, but I was just like, "Oh, this is so good!" And it was just him in court fighting like it was like the best. It was so good, and he ends up pushing to have superheroes being able to their testimony being counted in court while they keep their mask on. It was just awesome. It was so good.
Yeah.
It was so good. But as much as I love Charles, I was not a fan of Return of Wolverine.
Oh, that book got dragged out forever.
Oh.
I honestly, I walked in the store and I saw issue 5, and I stopped and I go, wait, when did this come out? And they were like last fall. I'm like, oh, I thought so, because he was at Terrificon in August, and issue 1 had just come out. The Return of Wolverine, how he got out of the adamantium.
Well,
and I'm like, oh my god, that's been 7 months
They
now.
took like a break because I think the 5th issue just came out like 2 weeks ago.
It did. Yeah, McNiven just drew it. I just picked it up the same day that Wolverine Infinity Watch came out.
Oh,
Same
see, I
day.
didn't pick that up.
With Jerry Duggan.
I like
Duggan.
Duggan. I love Duggan. I think he's so good.
That was a fun story too. And so you read how Wolverine came back?
Yeah, I was kind of let down a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
The whole crashing into the earth and being burned up into the atmosphere and too much.
So the whole thing was that woman, she has that power to bring you back, but you're like a zombie, and his healing factor, brought him back to being normal Wolverine. It was just like, what I wanted to know is why does he got these flaming claws and they still won't tell me?
No, well,
it's like
keep reading, buddy.
They put out like 25 issues of the Return of Wolverine Part 2. You know what I mean? Like the Hunt for Wolverine. Wolverine in New York City. Like they put out all these different books, and you still don't like have answers. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, did you buy the new relaunch of the X-Men with him and Cyclops in it?
I bought it. I haven't read it yet. I hear really good things
I
about
haven't
it.
either. No, because I haven't bought the X-Men in years. I'm talking like maybe 10 years. Wait, the last time I got it is when they fought the Avengers.
Oh, wow.
The Red Skull was in it. Remember he became that big giant.
So hold on. You didn't read any of Bendis's run?
Wait, no, I read when they came back, when the old X-Men came back through time.
The original
and then they
5.
did the trial of Jean Grey, and then I kind of fell off of it when they started getting in with the Guardians of the Galaxy. I was like, what's going on?
Then it started to get a little,
Yeah, and that's when I stopped. I was like, oh, first I loved it because I thought it was cool that the old X-Men met their younger selves or their older selves.
Yeah.
And then see, a lot of these books start off with a fantastic premise and you get so excited and you're all into it. It's almost like watching a Netflix show sometimes. By the time that the 6th or 7th issue rolls around, you're kind of like, oh, okay.
Or you'll really be loving it, and then they'll switch writers like after like 10 issues, and the new guy will come in and he'll take over and just completely like change the story or ruin the story. Like, oh no.
I can't stand when they switch creative teams. Years ago, they would let a guy work on a book for years.
Yeah.
Years.
Look at Dan Slott on
like
Spider-Man.
6 to 8. Yeah, Dan Slott, 10 years.
10 years.
Some of them they didn't bother with, but now it seems like just, who's getting a good run? Donny Cates. They're letting him do a lot of stuff at Marvel.
Yes. He's like their guy.
He's coming to Terrificon.
He's someone I want to meet. He's good.
I know, and that's like, okay, there you go. I'll announce him. But they just announced he's doing a new Silver Surfer, so I was like, okay, I'll be my big.
Which I hear that it's going to be very controversial. That he was saying that people might not like it, well, might not like what he does. So
Yeah.
And you know that he's also the writer of Venom, and he did.
Oh, I know that. And he's coming. And Stegman's coming.
He did something to Venom, and there's like a group of fans out there that want like Eddie Brock to
I saw that.
be in love with the symbiote. And he was just like, yeah, that's not happening.
No.
And then people were sending him death threats. They were like, they deserve to be together. They love each other. Like, we hate, we'll kill you. Just like, geez.
Yeah.
Wow.
Slow down.
You gotta let it go, man. It's only a comic book,
Sure. I mean, there's been times where
I know, but
I've been mad, but never that mad.
No, I think people are just talking out their asses. You don't need to ever threaten anybody especially over a fantasy story. Come on.
So what are some of your favorites right now? What are the books that when it comes out you automatically pull it open?
I like what he's doing with the FF. He's bringing back classic characters.
Love
he
FF.
Galactus and Doctor Doom in a story. They married off Ben Grimm to Alicia Masters.
Yep.
So I give Dan a lot of credit because he's really trying to jumpstart that book and he's pulling everything out but the kitchen sink. Look at here, we got this guy back. We got this guy back. Bang, bang, bang. So
yeah, that wedding issue was so good. It was so funny and so good. I loved that wedding issue.
Yeah, he gets the humor of the Fantastic Four.
Really
it's
does.
a very soap opera book.
And then they had that nice little story by Gail Simone where all like the women went out for the bachelorette party.
Like a girls' night out.
Oh,
the wedding book.
It was so good. It was so funny.
I read that one. Spider-Man. What's his name? He was at my show last year. I can't think of his name. Right
Nick Spencer.
Nick Spencer. Yeah. He's doing the Craven. That's kicking off. I just got issue 17.
Craven's Last Hunt's one of my favorite stories of all time. So I'm excited to see what he does.
Yeah, and the art's good on this. It's Otley's doing it, right?
Yep, Ryan
Otley. So yeah, they're a good team. They work together on Invincible, right?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, for the Kirkman book. No.
Oh no, he did. Yeah, he did.
Otley worked with Kirkman. Yeah,
he did Invincible. You're right. Yep.
Yep. Because I had that omnibus. I stopped reading that one like years ago, but it started off really good, and then I just kind of fell off of it after like issue 12. So that's a good one. Oh my God, dude, what are we talking about? The Immortal Hulk. That's the best book out there.
Is it good?
The best freaking book out there.
It really is.
Is it? You haven't, dude? There's like 6 printings. You can't even get those books anymore.
I thought
They're crazy.
So when I heard the premise of it's like a horror Hulk story and like he can die and come back to life, I was like, this sounds
He's
awful.
A monster, dude.
But it's good.
Yeah. Oh, it's literally the best Hulk book I think I've read since Bill Mantlo was doing them back in the 80s.
Wow.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Better than that Peter David stuff. Yeah.
Oh man, I might have to check it out then. If you say it's that good, I might have to check it out then.
There's trades out there. I don't know, or if you go get a Comixology, I don't know if you get digital books, but you can definitely check it out. It's so out there. It's so crazy.
I might have to now.
They took the Hulk in a whole new direction I never saw coming.
But it wasn't. It didn't fall flat though. You think it's good? Like you enjoy it?
No, it's getting better. I mean, we're on issue 11, I think now. And
okay.
It's Al Ewing is the writer.
Right.
He's fantastic.
Okay.
And he's also doing the Avengers book. Did you pick up the Conan story? He started last week. He met the Scarlet Witch. Tomorrow picks up.
Oh no, that's the No Way Home or something like
Home.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I picked up one of the first Conan issues. I haven't read it yet, just because I want to see what it's like.
Those are good. I read both of them, Savage Sword and Conan and the Barbarian. They're both really good.
Yeah, I picked up one of them. I can't remember which one, but
yeah, Garney's doing the Savage Sword. It's kind of like a pirate.
That's what it's him and Duggan, right?
Yeah.
I think
and
I picked
the other
up that
one is
Jason Aaron and somebody else. Yeah, but when I tried to find it, I couldn't find it. It was all sold out.
Oh yeah, no, it's sold out, dude.
Yeah,
my local comic shop, they ordered like 40 copies. They were done in a couple
I'll have to
days.
try and find it somewhere.
Yeah. And then I've been picking up the Invaders, the new one.
Is that good?
I like it. Chip Zdarsky. It's only on issue 2.
Oh, I might start reading that. I like Chip a lot. I think he's great.
There's so many issue 1s. Marvel's killing me. I go to the store. I'm like, what is this now?
Yeah, something new pops out every week. Or it'll be like a variation of something else. It'll be like, the Invaders Blue or something. You know what I mean? Like, it's way too much.
It's hard to keep track. I'll walk in and I go, wait a minute, what is this? Is this the main story or is this a sub-issue? What is this book, But they, which was a real good one? Killmonger.
Oh, I didn't read that either.
The Daredevil spinoff. That was a good. I'm not Daredevil. Black Panther.
Right.
Spinoff.
Yeah.
That was a good story. Yeah, I didn't think it was gonna be, but it actually a pretty good story about a character I never really cared about or knew about.
What I've been reading is I love Spider-Man. I think Spencer's doing a good job. I love the Avengers, the one that Jason Aaron does, like not the No Way Home or what, just like the normal
the 1
book.
million the 1 million BC Avengers, that one.
Yeah, he ties them in, but they're not the whole story. Yeah, I love. I think it's really good. They just added Blade as one of the members, and I'm a huge Blade guy, so I think that's really cool.
Are you looking forward to the Savage Avengers?
Yes. Yeah, that looks so cool.
Crazy.
That looks awesome. I'm excited for that.
Conan, Wolverine, every badass guy ever.
Yeah, ever. Like, you don't want to mess with these people. They're going to kill you. It looks really good, though.
Don't even look at them wrong. Yeah, they'll kill you just for looking at them wrong.
It does look awesome. I'm excited for that. My favorite book right now, though, currently, is Thor. I love Thor. I think Jason Aaron's done such a great job with Thor, and I can't wait for our War of the Realms. I'm so excited. I think it's going
to be huge, man. I don't know about that one. That looks like it's with Malekith in there. They keep teasing it.
Yeah,
all these
he's been teasing it for like 8 years now.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
If this fails and it's not good, I'm going to be so let down.
I mean, I'm a little hesitant because I just don't want to dive into like getting 20 copies of various books just to keep track of the story. I hate that.
So for me, I feel events have been really weak. The last a lot. Like, I really liked Secret Wars. I thought that was a pretty good event, but I didn't think it was like the best. But the last time there was like a great event where it was like front to back great was probably X-Men versus Avengers. That was probably the last really, you were like, oh man,
A versus X.
Yeah,
that was like 7 years ago.
Probably longer than that, right? Maybe
or maybe 10.
Yeah, it was a while ago. But that was probably the one, like the last event that from issue 1 to the final issue, it was just like great all the way through.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Last year there was a big Avengers book that came out, and was it No Surrender?
Yeah, it was. It was okay.
It was okay.
It was all right.
Nothing really happened. And I'm trying to think, what was the other event? They did Civil War 2.
Oh, Civil War 2 was not that good. I think Bendis was already checking out at that point. We were getting ready to go to DC. That was a bad book. That was not good.
And then Original Sin.
Sin was okay. It started out really good, and then it didn't end well because they were going
I'm still mad about that Dum Dum Dugan thing being a robot.
Yeah, yep, me too.
Yeah,
I think it's.
And then Nick Fury stuck up on the moon as the Watcher.
Yeah, it started out great, and then it's like they didn't know how to end it, or they forced him to end it in a certain way, because then it jumped into that next one where Red Skull was controlling all the, whatever that one was, the inversion where everyone got inverted.
Yeah.
That was okay too. Like, I don't know, they haven't had like an event that I've been like so excited for, but this War of the Realms, like, I'm like, this can't be bad. If this is bad, I might just be done with events, But I've been so excited.
They've got so many huge events you don't even know what to, and that's what killed them really. The Rebirth and the 52.
Oh yeah.
Became like, oh, now what?
Like I said, I DC. I have the books. I keep buying them. I've just not like. I'm having more fun reading these Marvel books.
I'm buying books because Artgerm does the cover, and they're beautiful. And I don't even know why I'm buying a Catwoman and Supergirl, because I don't even read those books. I'm like, look at this cover; it's beautiful. I've got to buy it.
Like I have both Batman books. I haven't read them. I'm like probably 10 or 15 issues behind.
Have you given up on Ben? I've given up on Bendis' Superman already.
Really? It's not good?
I thought I was going to love it, and then I gave up on one of them that just talked about Clark Kent's life. I gave up on that. And then I stuck with the other one where he was in space. and I gave up. I'm done. I checked out. I don't know. I wanted to love it. I wanted to be on the Superman again, but Superman is really like take it or leave it nowadays. You know?
Right? Yeah. I agree.
It really is. And then Shazam came back, and I picked up that 'cause Jeff Johns was.
I have that first issue. Have you read it? Is it good?
It was okay. You know, the art was really nice. You know which one I do get? I get Liam Sharp's Grant Morrison Green Lantern. I like that one.
See, I haven't finished the last Green Lantern. I have a couple issues of the last one.
Oh, you did the Dan Jurgens run?
Whoever was on it.
Yeah, I think it was Jurgens, I think.
So I have that. It was like Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern. It was good. It's good.
Yeah.
But I haven't read this new one. I have it. I just haven't started.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, Grant Morrison's a hard pill to swallow sometimes.
Oh,
I mean, he could be
tell
like
me about it.
traditional Justice League, or he could be tripping out of his mind on mushrooms and mescaline and writing Doom Patrol. You don't know what the hell you're gonna.
That's the thing about Grant Morrison. It's either you get good Grant, where it's like, oh man, he's doing things that nobody's doing, or you get head up his ass Grant, where.
Oh yeah, that's the perfect way to put it. Yeah, you get trippy Grant.
Yeah, where you're just like, what the hell am I reading?
I know, and I just finished his essay or book or whatever you want to call it, called Super Gods.
Oh,
it's
no.
called Man and Super Gods.
Okay, I haven't heard of it.
And he just goes on. It talks about the history of comics, and then it goes into his life and all the things he's done over his career. And then it ends around 2014 or 12, just before the big movie starts to come out. It ends just before Green Lantern comes out.
Okay.
And at the end of the book, he's like, we don't know if this movie will be a hit. I'm like, well, I know what happened. But he talks about some crazy stuff that he did. And you begin to wonder if some of those books are really stories or just a record of his hallucinations.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. He's someone that has a whole convention. They have like Morrison Con.
Oh, yeah. I believe.
Yeah.
Are you watching? Do you have DC Universe?
I don't. I've been on the fence if I want to get it or not.
Patrol.
Is it good?
It's a great show. It's great. Yeah.
Oh, I'll have to check it out.
I've heard good things about it too.
It's totally crazy.
I'm probably gonna get it. I'm gonna get it soon. I'm gonna at least get the trial and watch some of the shows and see what it's like before I decide to put the cash on it.
Umbrella Academy yet?
Nope. I haven't watched it.
That's a great one. I don't even know that Gerard Way. I didn't even know that story, and I started watching that. I think The Punisher just ended #2, and that's a great 10 episode. It's like the X-Men. If they were like punk rock style type of thing. It's
definitely on my
typical
list.
X-Men.
I hear it's great.
Yeah, it's really fun. It really is.
Definitely on my list.
There's a lot of comic stuff out there.
So
then that leads into what? Comics or Captain Marvel?
Let's get into we can get into Captain Marvel. Let's do that. So, we all saw it.
Yeah.
So what did you overall think of Captain Marvel? Well, let's say this quickly to anybody who hasn't watched Captain Marvel yet. Yeah. You're probably gonna want to jump off now if you haven't, because we're gonna get into spoiler territory.
Spoilers
we're definitely
are
gonna
coming.
spoil.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're gonna spoil a lot. So
all right.
If you haven't, here's your chance. 3, 2, 1. Spoils. All right. So what did you think?
I gave it a B. It was a pretty paint by numbers superhero story. Nothing shocking, nothing crazy, nothing that made me go, oh wow, I've got to go see that 20 times. I put it on the level with like an Ant-Man and Wasp type of thing.
Okay.
I've watched those. I've watched actually the first Ant-Man more than Ant-Man and Wasp. I don't think Ant-Man and Wasp was that great. I think it was another paint by numbers movie. And I think they try to do a lot in Captain Marvel, and that maybe hurt it. They try to tell like 20 different origin stories, and I didn't care about any of them.
Okay.
I didn't care about her character or anything. I want to know more about the Kree-Skrull war that was going on. I think that was more interesting. And I love Nick Fury. I think he was great. But I think it was a 2-hour trailer for Avengers Endgame. You just wanted to watch it and get it done with so you can jump onto the movie everybody wants to see. That's what I think.
So I agree with you. I do think it's kind of in that middle ground. I might have liked it a little bit more than you did, but it's one of those things that if you're a non-comic book fan, you're probably going to like it more than a comic book fan's going to like it.
Oh, you think so?
Yes, for sure. Because
Oh, all right. Because I was thinking about bringing my wife to it, and she doesn't watch any of these comic book movies. And
Yeah.
I was wondering that, like, will she be really bored, or will she be into it because?
I think she'll be into it. I think she'll
Well,
be
she
into
actually
it.
liked the Green Lantern movie. There you go. My wife says, I don't know what you people complain about.
I think it's definitely something more that a non-comic book fan will get into, especially the 90s nostalgia. You get all those old 90s songs that
Yeah.
were cool. The humor was good. I'm glad they didn't go
Yeah.
over the top with the humor. It was just enough. I thought Brie Larson and Samuel L. Jackson's chemistry was awesome.
Yeah.
They had a
they
really
work well
good
together.
chemistry. But some things they did just, as a comic
Okay,
fan, pisses me off.
Can we do a huge spoiler alert right
Yeah.
now?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's-
All right.
We're-
She finds out who she is, and then I saw the movie twice already,
Yes.
and I'm still trying to piece together the whole doctor. What was Annette Bening's character's name on Earth? I know she's Marvell, but she had like Dr. Lawson.
Dr. Lawson. So
Dr. Lawson.
in the comics,
Okay, what?
That was-
no. I know the
Yeah.
the comic. I know who Lawson. But I'm asking in the movie.
yes.
Did the Kree know she ran away and was on the Earth working on some secret
Yeah.
hyperdrive that was going to save the war or something?
Yes. That's why they came
Okay.
to. So that's why they came to Earth
Yes.
that the whole explosion comes because they were coming to take the drive.
They were coming to get the drive back from her. Okay, fine.
They
The
knew
drive
she
is
was on Earth, but they didn't know where she was until.
The drive. Okay, so the drive was part of the fighter jet that Carol
Yes.
Danvers was flying. Were they en route to the cloaked space station?
Yes.
And then they got intercepted by Jan Rog or whatever. and
By
his
the
maneuver.
Starfleet or what Star Force
Okay,
or
all
yeah.
right. So they take him out. She blows up the engine, so they can't get it.
So
somehow she gets infused with Kree powers, or
Similar to her
Whatever.
origin. Similar, yeah.
yeah, that's true. That's a Roy Thomas thing. Okay, so the Tesseract was found by Howard Stark years ago. Shield or whatever they wanted to call themselves had it for study. She came to the Earth to get it because she knew they had the Tesseract.
That's the part where they don't kind of explain. So somehow she got the Tesseract and put it into her drive because that was like the thing that charged
no, it
up
wasn't
her.
in the drive. It
Right.
wasn't in the drive. It was aboard the space station.
Oh, well, I thought it had
That's
something
the
to do
part
with.
I don't get. No,
See,
No,
that
it was hanging out on the space station.
see, I
yeah.
thought it was in the drive.
No.
no. See, that's the part that makes no sense. It's like the hyperdrive thing worked without the Tesseract, or maybe it used Tesseract energy to power it, but the actual physical square little box
Was-
cube thing was aboard that ship.
Oh, so I thought it was on the.
For 6
Okay,
years.
that doesn't make sense
No.
then. Yeah, that.
No, I
was
mean
weird.
for 6 years they didn't know where it was.
Yeah, that doesn't make a lot of sense then.
Yeah, and then I started saying, well, wait a second. Does it give off an energy signature or something? I mean, didn't they go, where the hell did she hide it? Because he kept asking her where the coordinates were. Because the coordinates were where she had hidden the Tesseract. And that's what they were trying to get out of Carol
Right.
Danvers' brain. Yeah.
So they were.
So I just
she
think,
was
why
using
did-
the
why did it take
Tesseract
you-
to power her core, but I thought her core was on the plane. So she was remotely
but the-
charging it from space.
I guess.
Yeah.
I guess. And I'm like, why did they wait 6 years? If they knew it was somewhere on the Earth hidden, why didn't they stick around to try to find it? But they end up bringing Carol Danvers back to the Kree, and then they put this suppressor thing on the back of her head
Yeah.
because they knew she was too powerful.
Well, she was too powerful, but they also. It was a mistake of her even going back to Earth because she got captured by
The Skrull.
the Skrull, and that's how she ended up going back to Earth. But they didn't want her back on Earth. They wanted to try to find the cube without her knowing that they're finding it.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. So it's just dumb luck that she happened to show up there.
Yeah.
And everything unraveled.
Yep.
Okay.
Kind
And
of.
then the Skrulls being good guys. Now
That-
okay. Here's another one.
That was a huge twist.
That was fine. It was good
I
because I,
was-
didn't see it coming. I like to be
I
surprised.
took that. So there was a few things in the movie that kind of pissed me off. That was one
ahead.
that it was a big change that I was kind of like, ooh, but I liked it. It was cool. I get that the MCU is going to have some different changes. The whole Marvel being a woman, I was kind of like, All right, that's okay, I guess. But Nick Fury, when he lost his eye,
You didn't like that?
No, that was
See, I thought it was
awful.
so stupid. It was like, yeah, okay, I guess that's how it works.
Oh, that was, I was just like, oh,
Yeah.
that was
Well,
awful.
And the other, when she turns renegade, okay, they show up at the end. Jude Law comes to get her, and they're having the big battle aboard the Skrull ship, whatever
Yeah.
you want to call it. Actually, it was the human ship because there was a pinball machine on there and whatever. It was some kind of Earth space station. Who
Right.
built it? We don't know. I don't know what the hell.
I think it was Marvel that built it.
Marvel built it. Okay, fine. So they're up there hiding out. She suddenly figures it out. She's fighting against her own Kree soldiers that she used to be one of. Here's the part that bugs me. When Ronan shows up with those two other ships, there's three of them headed towards the Earth, and they've got orders to neutralize the threat, like basically wipe out the Earth or her or whatever. We don't know. And she suddenly gets all her powers. Dude, she blows up one of those Kree ships.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a pile of soldiers on board there?
Yeah.
She just vaporized her own people or
She
people she
just-
was fighting with for 6 years for the hell of it?
She murked a lot of those dudes. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
She just didn't care.
Yeah, no,
She
that's...
just like, and they're like, hey, look, everybody, isn't that Veers? Hey, yeah, I had a drink with her last week. But boom, she killed them all.
I think that they overpowered her a little bit. She's
Yeah,
a little
I mean, she took
overpowered.
When Ronan attacks Xandar and the Guardians of the Galaxy save it, what the hell? You don't need them. Just call her. She'll blow up everything. One go. What are you afraid of?
And that's another thing too. Is obviously they got to make this story so you can be like, well, where was she all this time? Obviously, she's in space fighting this war, like fixing this war. But it's like, what about when the Kree blew up? Yeah, in Guardians, why didn't she show up and hook up that planet? Like, or when they started attacking, the
They killed the Nova Corps.
yeah, she couldn't hook up the Nova guys and help them out. Like, where was she then? Was she
I don't know.
she
A lot
having
of
a
stories
drink?
Don't make sense.
So
Was
it's
she captured? Are we going to find out in the next movie that she was trapped somewhere? I don't know.
yeah, I don't know.
A lot of explaining. I understand the galaxy's a big place,
Yeah,
and she could have been God knows where. But it's just I don't know. When you make somebody that powerful, that
too
she's
powerful.
wiping out entire ships by herself, I'm like, what Thanos is going to kick her ass in 10 seconds?
Marvel-
Or she's going to kick his ass.
Marvel put out like an interview thing talking about like the power levels of the characters, and they said that she's more powerful than Hulk. She's more powerful than everyone. The only person that could stand up to her is Thor, but they're like she'd probably still beat Thor too. And I'm just like, ooh.
So she's not stronger than Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet.
That's to be seen, but I would, if she is, that's a problem. But a lot of people
I'll bother Starlin tomorrow when I go to his house. Say, you tell me right now.
a lot of
All
people
right,
are
leave me alone.
speculating that she's going to be the person that beats Thanos, and I'm just like,
Well, I do think it's kind of a cool setup. I saw the movie with Jerry Ordway, and he says, "Oh, look at that." I go, "What?" He goes, "They have Thanos fighting Captain Marvel, just like in the comics." I go, "Oh, I didn't see that coming, but they did. They ended up doing the storyline, with the Avengers. Maybe she's going to turn him into a big statue at the end." That's how they got him in the book.
yeah,
You know.
maybe. Because how the original Infinity Gauntlet at the end, he goes in that little place of peace and he just like chills out.
Yeah, man.
I mean, that's what they did in the end of the first one. He's just like chilling, like
Yeah, with the little scarecrow in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a farmer.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm still hoping that your theory's right and it's really
That it's
Red
not
Skull
really
or something.
Yeah.
Did you hear what
It's
the
a
new
double.
theory is though? Now the new theory is that he's being controlled by, one of the bigger, like Galactus is really the guy behind everything.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Or like the Living Tribunal, or one of those like big
Yeah.
names are.
Eternity.
Yeah, one of those people are really the main
No,
person.
I don't think they're gonna. That's too trippy. I don't think they'll go there. People will be like, "What the hell are you talking about?"
'Cause
Even with the when they did the Hulk Ragnarok and they had the Game Master on there,
Yes.
they didn't go too nuts about how he was one of the elders of the universe
Oh, that's
or
true.
the collector. They didn't get into that.
Well, I mean, so the Fox deal just went through. Well, it goes through tonight,
No, midnight tonight.
midnight tonight.
In a couple hours.
So basically, it's done. So
It's done.
by the time Avengers Endgame comes out, we could maybe have a cameo, a scene at the end, an extra credit scene. So maybe maybe Galactus will show up at the end or something.
You know what?
Or,
We've been talking about that. Wouldn't it be cool, like, you see the end credits and you see, like, Captain America or Thor or Tony Stark or whatever, Nick Fury, and they think everything's over. The world's saved again. Thanos is done, and they brought everything back. And they go, what could happen next? And you just hear, like a portal open up, or maybe with the negative zone, or Dr. Doom's time machine shows up, and the Fantastic Four just fall to the ground, or you just hear the words "flame on," and you see a four in the sky, and that's how it just ends. You'd be like, "What the hell?"
So what I always thought
your
they
head
would
would
do,
be blown. You know that. You'd be like, "Oh my god, I can't take it, man."
What I always thought they would do is the last scene would show you like the rocket of the Fantastic Four going into space or something, and you're like, no. Something like that, or or you see like Galactus going to a planet and eating it, or getting ready to eat it.
Oh, the Silver Surfer showing up.
Something. You're gonna get something like that, I think.
Or the Mole Man. Something definitely Fantastic Four.
I think it'll be easy to integrate the Fantastic Four in the universe. I think it's gonna be tough to do the X-Men. I mean, unless they do something where when he did the snap, it's like those people that got disintegrated, when they come back, like some of them are mutants, and that's how they're mutants now.
No, they're not gonna. I think they're not going to touch an X-Men story for like 2 years.
You think so?
I think they're gonna let everybody forget about this upcoming stupid
because
movie.
the guy, what's his name, Kevin Feige or whatever, he said their plan is to eventually have an Avengers vs. X-Men movie.
Yeah, eventually, but I don't think they're going to do it right away, like next year.
Oh, no. You'll get Fantastic Four first, but I think you'll get X-Men integrated in.
I mean, look how fast they took Spider-Man. I mean, that Andrew Garfield Spider-Man with Gwen Stacy came out, maybe just 2 years before Tom Holland?
Yeah.
Or the year before, wasn't it? It wasn't that long between Civil War and
like 2 years maybe,
2. Yeah, so maybe they'll be like, hey, that crappy Fantastic Four movie came out 2 years ago. And we know nobody saw it anyway, so here we go. We'll just pick up where we left off, Oh,
I think we'll get Fantastic Four really soon. I think it's going to be super soon. I think.
And I think X-Men will be in a bit. So right now they're already casting this Black Widow movie, which is probably going to go in production really quick. So next year will be Black Widow. What else is coming out?
I don't know. They haven't really said.
Black Panther 2.
We know Black Panther 2 signed for a movie, Doctor Strange 2, and Guardians 3. We know those are the movies that are so far that they've signed up for.
Will they do a third Ant-Man?
I don't know. I would maybe.
They might.
I mean, he's still
they're not huge blockbusters. I mean, they do okay, but they're not huge.
I think the movies aren't huge, but people love the character, I think.
Yeah.
I think they enjoy the character, so I think they'll maybe do another one. I could see them.
Guardians, we all know, thank God, James Gunn.
Right.
Which, like, that was the most freaked out, greatest news I heard. I was walking my dog, and I looked at my phone, and I go, get the hell out of here.
You know what? Honestly, I'm thinking that the whole time they knew he was, like, they just said we fired him.
I'm thinking that, yeah.
And they were just
he's been off social media for months. He hasn't done a tweet or anything. I think people knew that he was really coming back. Yeah. And they waited. It got closer to this Fox deal. They didn't want to rock the boat, Yeah,
that's what I think it was. Once they knew everything was set and they had it, they were like, all right, James, we'll say you're back.
I hope we get some
and they're probably kicking themselves that he signed up for that Suicide Squad 2 movie. They're like, oh, crap.
Oh, you didn't hear that he rebooted it. It's not... You know how the first movie was called Suicide Squad?
Oh, yeah, I heard it's called The Suicide Squad, which is fine, but he's still making it. Though,
right, yeah.
Yeah.
But he's rebooting the whole thing.
I bet they're hoping he could drop it. Like, can't you just say I'm sick and I can't do it? Go back to Guardians.
I hope he gets some
thank
real
God he's doing Guardians
James
3, man. I was
smugness.
so bummed out about that. I mean, I would literally think about it going, I'll never see Guardians 3.
Yeah.
Always wonder what it would have been like,
Yeah, no, I felt the same way. If he wasn't doing it, it was probably going to be awful. So
yeah,
I mean, they were trying to get the Thor guy to do it, and I was like, if he did it, it might be okay, but he wouldn't do it. So yeah, it's gonna be good at least. But they gotta figure out, that's not enough for like the next phase. So they're definitely gonna have Fantastic Four, and they'll probably do something with X-Men. They have to. Or you think they maybe do another Deadpool movie?
I don't know what they're doing with Deadpool. I really don't know.
I think like if they keep any of the characters, they'd be smart to keep Deadpool the way he is. I thought Ryan Reynolds did a good job as Deadpool. I don't think they should recast it or do anything like that. But the other X-Men, do what you want, recast them, whatever. I don't really care about them. So.
Yeah, no, I mean,
they're just not.
I wasn't in love with any of those. Let me see, any of the actors. I think who did a good job in the First Class movies. The guy playing Magneto is great.
Yeah,
I like him.
Fassbender's good.
Really, nope. I can't think of any of the rest of them are standing out. I'm like, maybe the Beast guy.
Yeah,
maybe.
the Nicholas Hoult or what? Yeah, he's a good Beast.
He was okay.
Yeah, other than that though, it's just like
I don't really care for what's his name, the professor. He's all right.
Yeah, he's
McAvoy.
He's not a great.
He's okay. Yeah.
You had, a quality. I thought Stewart was a
I
good.
didn't think Jennifer Lawrence was ever great.
No. Nope.
No. And Quicksilver. Okay, I'll give that kid some. He's kind of fun to watch.
Yeah, he was all right. He was fun.
He's a joke, a one joke thing.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah, he was good for that.
Fast.
Yeah. He was fun for that movie.
And that's it, really. I mean, that last movie was so bad. I mean,
I didn't see it.
The girl that's from Game of Thrones that played Jean Grey. I was like, ugh, whatever.
Yeah, that was a letdown.
She couldn't act.
No,
Sophie
Sophie Turner
Cyclops
should have been a lot better. Yeah.
Oh, such a letdown.
Yeah, none of them stood out. I mean, not one actor.
Yeah.
The guy that was playing the Nightcrawler, no.
Yeah, they got to do a recast and think of some smart way to work them into the MCU, kind of like how they did the Inhumans. Honestly, they shouldn't have ever brought the Inhumans in, and that should have been the mutants' origin.
That was one of the worst things Marvel ever did.
Yeah, that was. Show. I'm thinking maybe they'll do something where Xavier's been blocking them all this time, and then when they did the snap, Xavier was one of the people that died, so he's not blocking them anymore or something. I don't know. They got to think of something.
Yeah.
They got to think of something. It's got to. They can't just be like, "Well, mutants have been here the whole time." That'd be so lame.
They need to bring back Ray Park as the Toad. Then they'll be cooking with gas. Bring back the Toad, man.
I want to see
I don't know.
I want to see a movie with Mr. Sinister. That's what I want.
Well, that's what they were going for. They showed that at the end of the Apocalypse movie.
Like he was in the movie?
I could have swore I saw a cut scene where they showed Mr. Sinister showing up. I swear I saw one of those at the post trailer scene, and that was it. They never referred to it again.
Like they teased him coming or something?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe. Like I said, I didn't see that last one. I was just like, no.
Oh well, that's what I'm saying. If you watched it, it ends with whatever the name of that company.
Oh, the Essex Corporation.
Yes, that's it.
Oh, okay, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, but they didn't follow up on it, so it's not happening, so.
That's something I'd love. I'd love to see him in a movie. I think he'd be really cool. Or Mojo. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
I'd like that. They could do so many cool things with.
That would be really crazy.
Yeah.
Mojo. Imagine if they started bringing in all the other stuff like Shatterstar. Well, they did. They brought him in X-Force.
Yeah, but they killed him in 2 minutes.
I know, it was a joke.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah.
Huh.
There's so many cool things they could do, and I hope I don't know. I hope Marvel tends to cast the right people and make the right decisions, so I'm hoping they...
Well, I tell you, it came at a perfect time, this whole merger, because think about it, they were wrapping up the Avengers, and you really had nowhere to go.
Yeah.
And now suddenly you can go anywhere. It's like, oh my God, how are they going to top what they've done? And now look at it. Now we're sitting there about to watch, so many stories we can't even figure out which one they're going to do first.
Yeah. They can just do so many things. And then I'm assuming, the next end phase will be them fighting the X-Men or something. Or
I think it's all going to get real cosmic-y. I really think it's going to be so big now. You're going to get your...
for sure.
Yeah. Well, you could bring the Shire in. You could do the Brood. You could do the X-Men in space. You could do a lot of that stuff.
You could,
know?
yeah. They've already put you there's so many other like alien races that are in like the wars and stuff.
They showed you the Watchers.
Yeah.
Kinda with Stan Lee.
Yeah.
What did you think of that montage, the tribute to Stan?
Oh, I thought it was amazing. I thought they did a really good job.
Yeah,
I didn't see that coming. I didn't know that was going to happen. And then we saw it the first night, and the whole audience, you could hear a pin drop. Everyone was like,
I thought his cameo was really good too.
Yeah.
And
reading the Mallrats book?
Yeah. I was like, that's pretty
excellent.
sweet.
Yeah.
I was like, that's really
that was
good.
cool.
Now, is he going to be in Endgame? Is Endgame his last one?
Yeah, he's got two more. No, Spider-Man is the last one.
Oh, okay. That's good
Far
then.
From Home, and that's it.
I don't know how I don't know how I feel about Far From Home. I want to like
I don't know where
it.
it takes place. I literally think it's going to be a time jump. I think he's on the way to that trip when he's on the bus. When Thanos lands, I think they reset everything. You know.
They said they announced it not that long ago that it's after Endgame. It's set
but I think it
after.
might be like minutes after. You know?
Oh, maybe, yeah. I don't know. They just said it's set after Endgame, so clearly you know that he comes back. Like, but I don't. We don't know who the who. Do we know who the villains are?
No, it's Mysterio and a bunch of people. I think what they're doing with the Spider-Man movies, the new ones with Tom Holland, is they're not making these big epic battles. They're kind of making them like little after-school special stories, like Nancy Drew. They're kind of keeping Spidey not that powerful. I think they're purposely making them like Bob Teenager and his wacky adventures with Ned. You know, because that last one with the Vulture, that wasn't like, oh my God, it's going to change the world. They're keeping them low key villains.
Yeah, that's true. The
Prowler, that type of stuff. You know, this not too far above the Netflix guys. I picture Spider-Man being like almost like Luke Cage level, Daredevil, street crime kind of guy.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it works best that way because he's still a stupid little 17-year-old kid. He's not going to be like fighting Thanos. Well, he did, but didn't work too well.
It's still a little bit above his pay grade, I guess.
Yeah,
so.
He's a kid. I mean, I don't expect him to have like Captain America's knowledge of battle and strategic stuff. But
Yeah, it kind of makes sense.
So it'll be a goofy movie. I think it's just going to be goofy.
Yeah, I just don't know who, because in the trailer it looks like Mysterio is helping him fighting some water and fire guy, but they're not.
Hydro Man. Isn't it Hydro Man? In
no,
the Molten
I heard it's not Hydro Man. It's not. It's somebody. It's another character.
Oh, okay.
Not the
That's fine.
Eternals,
Hydro
but
Man is one of the stupidest characters ever. Anyway.
Not the Eternals. I can't think of those other elemental guys.
Oh, no. There were these guys that were in the Living Mummy. The Elementals or something?
Yes. It's supposed to be them, I think.
Yeah. Nobody knows who they are.
They chose...
That's a 50-cent book that just became worth hundreds of dollars for no reason.
Yeah, they chose not to do Hydro Man and the classic Spider-Man villains because I guess they'd give Sony too much power, so... That's why Sony's doing all those other, their Venom's got his own movie and,
Well, I think the only thing Disney has to do now is buy Sony.
Yeah. And monopolize everything.
None of this Spider-Man crap. We're buying you now. No!
Or at least buy Spider-Man back.
Don't make another Venom movie.
Oh, they are, though.
I know, because it made $1 gazillion. It made $800 million.
I can't believe
That's
it.
insane.
It must have been all overseas then.
It did. It was huge overseas. It's one of the dumbest superhero movies I've ever seen. Really, who wrote this thing?
That was not good.
And that's why
it wasn't.
That's why you have all those people that are like, Eddie Brock needs to love the symbiote. Like, they love each other because of that movie.
Maybe if there was I gotta admit, there's got to be an hour worth of footage cut out of that movie because stuff happens that you're like,
oh, yeah.
what are you talking about? First they said his organs were hardening up from the infection with the symbiote. Then they kind of forgot that, you know. Like,
He
your
even
heart's
said that they
atrophied.
cut out all the like all his favorite parts.
He said that, and then like a day later, he's like, "Oh no, just kidding. No, they put everything in," and everyone was like, "Yeah, okay, Tom.
Yeah.
we know that they cut stuff
and
out."
then it's like, oh, the host, it can't bond with anybody. It has to be a specific person, or the people turn to dust. Like when it bonded with the homeless dude and the old Asian lady, it didn't work. And suddenly it's jumping onto his girlfriend, and she's a Venom, and I'm like, wait, what? And then that mean scientist guy, he was the other white Venom thing, toxin, or whatever the hell it's called. I'm like, what's going on here? You just rewrote your own story within 5 minutes, Like
Yeah.
they forgot the other part of the movie.
Maybe they had like multiple people writing it or something. I don't know.
Definitely they had something going wrong. Or when they put it together, they go, no one's going to pay attention. And as a comic nerds, we're sitting there going, hey, that doesn't make sense to the story you just established. You just changed the logic. What are you doing here?
Well, I know their original plan was to make it like super adult and super like gory and stuff. But then they were like, oh, if we do that, we won't be able to, because they want to team up with Spider-Man or have him cross over with Spider-Man. So that's,
I don't know.
Originally they tried so hard to make it adult, but then they had to change it up because they wanted to not make it so it couldn't team up with Spider-Man. But now Marvel's like, no, we're never
When
combining.
he eats that bad guy at the end, does he poop that dude out?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, he's in that little bodega there, and the guy's threatening the woman with the gun, and then he goes over and he eats the guy, we assume, because he's gone, and then he's like, burp. I'm like, okay, now, did that go through Eddie Brock's stomach? Is it like there's a dude inside of him right now? Like he just ate a whole body? Or does it go into like another dimension, intestine for Venom? So Venom does, I don't know.
I
man.
think it would go in his stomach.
It's a funny visual, but it doesn't make any sense.
No.
Yeah, disappointing.
Like, did he burp up a bunch of bones? It's kind of like the cat at the end of the. Maybe he's a Flarkin, just like the Captain Marvel.
Oh, that cat too. The first time they show him, it was kind of cool, but then they overhyped that cat too much.
Yeah, Goose. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Spitting up the Tesseract.
Yeah.
Nobody saw it coming. Nobody saw it coming. Where was Goose all these other years? Does Nick Fury have a cat and didn't tell anybody?
See, if I was Nick Fury, if that thing took my eye, I wouldn't. I'd be like, I want this thing near me. I'd be like, get out of here, cat.
Shoot it. Yeah, but then again, he saw what it could do, so maybe he was afraid of it. You know what? I'll tell you what didn't look good. Did the makeup effects on Coulson look freakish to you? He looked like Conan O'Brien a couple times. I'm like, what the hell?
So generally, they did a really good job with Samuel L. Jackson, like the de-aging of him. But Coulson didn't look.
He just looked
as
like
good.
his head was too big, or he looked too. It didn't look right.
Well,
Something
what
was
I
not
think
right.
it was is they tried to put more hair on him.
Yeah,
and it
maybe
just
his
didn't
head
look
looked
right.
taller.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, his head. He didn't look right.
Yeah, there's a couple scenes when he first shows up and they're in front of the Blockbuster. I'm like, oh God, who the hell is that? I'm like, oh, that's Coulson. Doesn't look right.
Yeah, he looked a little.
Yeah, it might have been a bit off.
They did.
A little off.
Fury looked good though. They did him really well. I was.
Well, I think the way they do it, don't they have to go find an old movie where he's in it and they could digitize it and then that's how they map it out? Or
they
something?
do something like that. Yeah.
Maybe Sam Jackson's done a lot more movies than Clark Gregg did, so they didn't have a lot to go off.
It looked like they pulled some old Samuel L. movie, but with Clark Gregg, it looked like they just put extra hair on his head. They digitally put hair in. They didn't really have anything else to fix his face, so his face didn't.
No, he wasn't in movies. No, Jackson looked like he did almost when he was in the Die Hard 3, I think.
Yeah.
Which is around that time, like the mid '90s. So maybe that's what the film they were using.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he did.
But yeah, like Michael Douglas when he was in Ant-Man, he looked like Wall Street.
They did a good job. They did a really good job with that one. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, he did good. Peggy Carter didn't look right in that one.
Yeah, when they aged her up.
Like, oh,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The aging up doesn't really work.
Howard Stark. If you try to figure out how old Howard Stark really would be and when he got killed, and the timelines all messed up.
Right. Yeah, well, he was
How
around.
old? How old is he in Captain America, the first Avenger?
He's got to be
20 something.
Yeah, in his 20s, and that's what, the 40s.
Yeah. So then, if he's alive, and it says 1989 when he gets killed by the Winter Soldier, so that's how many years later? 70. That's like 45 years later. Okay, he'd be in his 70s maybe. And how old is Tony Stark then? Like 20?
Yeah, I don't
How
know.
old's Tony Stark in the new movies? Like 40?
Yeah,
50?
I would say 40s.
Yeah.
About 40? Okay. Yeah. I mean, if you start looking at it all, you're like, wait a minute, how old are these people supposed to be?
I would say
Cap
40s.
was asleep for 75 years.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not real, but I still sit there sometimes and go, okay, now what's happening here?
So do we.
Yeah, I know. It's these little things that bug us, like T'Challa, and his dad was there, and then did Howard Stark meet his father to give him the vibranium? And they don't tell you how he got that, you know? Because wasn't it no one supposed to know about Wakanda?
Yes. Yeah. Nobody knew, or they kept it hidden.
Yeah. So how did he get the Cap shield vibranium stuff?
Yeah, I don't know.
We don't know.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Or maybe they found a piece of it. I don't. Yeah, they don't really say. Yeah, that's
I
an
don't
interesting
know.
question.
Maybe the Flarkin had it and threw it up too. Maybe that cat's been around for a long time. Who's to say she brought the cat with her? Maybe the cat was on the earth. I don't know.
All right, though, Mitch, we're winding
We're running
down
out of
here.
steam.
Thank you again for doing the show. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, baby.
A great talk tonight for sure. We'll definitely have to have you back when Endgame comes on. Have you back to?
Oh hell yeah, man! What is it? 38 days? Not that I'm counting.
Yeah, I think so. 26,
Yeah,
I think,
did
or
they-
something like
Did
that.
they start selling tickets yet?
Not that I know of. I
Because
haven't
I'm like
seen
that.
it.
Not
You
that I've
know
seen.
that. We'll do a prediction right now, John. How much do you think it's going to make the first weekend? I think it's going to be an all-time record.
Oh, yeah, they're gonna break the what is it? The
300 million. mark?
300 million in a weekend. I think they'll do it in
Oh.
they're
They're
gonna
gonna- they're
destroy
gonna
that.
smoke that.
The record is 263, and that was set by Infinity War. I say this one breaks $300 million in the first weekend in the U.S.
Yeah, because generally it's what, like 3 days to hit 300 million,
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah, it's gonna.
They're
This
gonna
is
blow
gonna
it out of the
crush
water.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're going to blow it out of the water. And it's definitely going to make $2 billion worldwide. It'll be up there with Star Wars. You know,
Oh,
yeah.
if
I think
The Force Awakens made $2 billion, you're like, come on, really?
I think this has the potential to be the highest, one of the highest movies of all
Well,
time.
yeah, it can't beat that damn Avatar though.
That pesky Avatar. Yeah.
Oh, those blue people.
Yeah.
Oh, don't get me going on that. Dude, no one even remembers that movie.
Because it sucked.
No.
It did.
was
The only
awful.
reason why
It
it
was
made
bad.
money is because you could only see it in 3D IMAX when it came out, and you had to buy a $15 ticket. So the reason why it has so much box office is because all the ticket prices
Right.
were twice as high as normal tickets.
And
That's
this-
why.
And this is when movies weren't even that, now they're all $15-$16, but back then, $15 a movie, you were like,
No,
whoa.
and there was no 3D. It was like one of the first ever 3D IMAX movies. That's why everybody went to see
Yeah.
it, and it was a big deal.
Yeah,
you know?
he cheated.
It's not that good a story. I don't
No,
even remember it half the time. I'm like, what's
I
the whole
honestly,
movie?
I don't remember the plot. Yeah.
Yeah, it sucked. Wasn't a fan.
Just blue people and shit flying around. That's all I remember.
Yeah.
You know?
The guy from Don't Blink was evil and got into a mech suit at the end and tried to kill them all. That's all I remember.
Yeah. And Jake Sully, I think that's his name. I See You. That's about it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and they're going to make apparently 2 or 3 sequels of that. I'm like,
Yeah.
nobody cares.
Oh,
Nobody
God.
Let's
yeah,
hope
no
not.
one cares.
Yeah. Anyway, boys, wrap it up. I'll see you in a month or so, okay?
Yes.
All right.
We will see you
Take
soon,
care.
Mitch. I'll keep in touch.
Go to
Uh,
GamerCon if you're around this weekend. I need the tuition money. Come on.
All right, we'll see what we can do.
Yeah.
All right. Good night, boys.
All right.
All
See
right.
you, Mitch.
Have a good one.
Bye. You too.
That was Mitch Hallock, the creator of CT GamerCon and Terrificon. Always a pleasure to have on the show. We love talking to him. And this is going to wind down here. We're winding down here. One thing we're looking forward to, guys. Dimitri, you've been kind of silent for a long time. So we haven't been having you talking. So what's something you're looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to a bunch of shows coming out. There's
New shows or something that you've already seen?
like seasons 2 and 3. So Happy with Christopher Maloney on Sci-Fi is coming out, season 2. I mentioned last week that The Tick season 2 on Amazon Prime is coming out, season 2, in a couple weeks. And there's a couple of other shows that are coming out soon that I don't quite remember. I'm also excited to finish up Arrested Development that just came out
That's still going on?
the continuation of it. Netflix picked it up, so it's on Netflix only now. Season 5, the second half of season 5 just came out.
Oh, wow.
So there's a bunch of shows coming out, and I think there's a couple that I can't remember right now.
Jason, how about you?
I'm looking forward to March Madness and losing money once again, as I always do when March Madness comes around, because I can't help myself.
I never. Sometimes I'll make a bracket.
Yeah, I do that and then some. I have no self-control. It's bad. So I will be betting on pretty much all the Thursday and Friday games, the start of the tournament. So from 9 a.m. to like 9 p.m., both those days, I'm going to be just glued to my television and not really rooting for any teams in particular.
And that's what, this weekend or next weekend?
This weekend, yeah.
Okay.
Just rooting for whoever I bet on. So yeah, that'll be good. So I'll either come in next week very happy because I made money or very depressed because I lost it all again. So we'll see.
Do you do like a bracket thing?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I do that too.
Okay. Yeah, I did it like once or twice, but I don't really watch it, so I don't really know. Besides like the names you hear,
Yeah.
I don't really know too much.
Just
about
pick Duke
it.
to win. Duke's going to win.
Think so?
Yeah. No one's beating
Zion's just too good.
Duke. Zion's a beast.
That's your sports minute here
There you
on
go.
Static Rift. I guess we're doing everything now.
I had to sneak it in somehow.
What am I looking forward to? I don't know. I'm looking. Honestly, I have no idea. I've been reading a lot more comics, so I'm looking forward to War of the Realms. It's coming out soon. Really, I think the end of this month or beginning of next month. So it's been 8 years in the making, or 9 years. I don't know, a long time. Ever since Jason Aaron's been writing Thor, he's been hyping up this gigantic battle of all of like the Thor realms, and he's gonna bring in like Luke Cage and all the heroes. So Luke Cage is gonna have like some like Asgardian hammer. It's gonna be awesome. Wow. I mean, there's no way it's not gonna be awesome. So we'll definitely be talking a lot about War of the Realms when it's coming out. But I don't think I've been excited for an event in a long time. So I just hope it don't suck. Please don't suck. So that's what I'm looking forward to. That, reading more Thor, reading more Marvel. Sorry, DC. I've just been slacking on you. You're not that great. But yeah, that's it. More comics. So this is the end of Static Rift 162 here on the Go Network. As always, you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Static Rift Radio. You can find us on all podcasting platforms. I'm also thinking of maybe figuring out where else we can put the show, because it's on Facebook Live, but from people that I've talked to, if you don't have Facebook, you're kind of alienated from it. So I'm going to try to figure out a way. Maybe we'll put it on YouTube. Maybe we'll put it on, I don't know, something else. Maybe we'll start streaming it on, I don't know. We're going to try to figure out another way to get it out there so you can watch it if you don't want to watch it, because I figured out that a lot of people enjoy seeing it, which I never thought they would.
Hey.
So stay tuned for that. We'll let you know where we're gonna put that, the video portion up, if we decide to, or if we can. Yeah. But other than that, follow us on all the socials, follow us on all the podcasting platforms, and tune in next week. Same static place, same static time. I love you all. Good night.